So we're making this, not right now, at 10 o'clock. Yes, 10 o'clock, we've got this stunning creation in a kit ready for you to get sewing. So let's take a look at what is coming up today on the shows. So, 8 o'clock, Quilt-As-You-Go. Oh yeah, last time we brought this to wear, it sold out. 9 o'clock, what Jenniffer made. And what she made actually today is a pencil skirt. And then at 10 a.m, yes, it is the Galaxy quilt. And then at 11 a.m, what Jenniffer made, part 2. She's making the top that could go with the skirt. Depends. But we need a quilting queen. We've got our very own Angie Attwood. Hello.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
And you have now been spotted, haven't you?
Yes, my first spot.
Hey!
You took us to Quilt Festival at the weekend. Yeah, a lovely lady came and spoke to me, said she enjoyed the show, so that's nice.
Excellent. Now, Angie, we're going to dive straight in with this. Yeah. The final product is this. Let me show you this. Now, that looks quite complicated to me. Beautiful / complicated. But look at that. Producer Paul says it's like him. Beautiful but complicated. I don't know. I still have the image of Producer Paul in our kimono in front of a unicorn quilt. So I couldn't possibly comment. But we are making this, and it's out of the Quilt-As-You-Go. What's this all about?
Oh, it was really interesting to make, actually. I really enjoyed making it. I'd never worked with this kind of Quilt-As-You-Go. I've done Quilt-As-You-Go before, but this particular product is kind of a fusion of Quilt-As-You-Go technique and foundation piecing. So it kind of merges both of those techniques into sort of a pre-printed design.
I think of it as quilting by numbers, but I have no idea if that is even remotely true.
Well, it looks like that, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And this is what you can make. But here's the thing. The last time we bought a Quilt-As-You-Go product to air, it sold out. It's only £8.95, which is a fabulous price, absolutely brilliant price. And so you get the strips to do all of that. Well, basically to make that quilt back there. That's the batting that makes that for just £8.95. Yeah. But here's the thing. You'd get this home and then you'd have to work out what material you need, which materials, what colour's going to go with what, all of that. Yeah. Not here at the Sewing Quarter. We've got that all sorted for you, all done, all bundled, ready to go. So before we get into that, let's take a look at this. So this is the fabric that we're getting, all of this. So it's Joel Dewberry with a spot-on backing fabric for you, which is on the left-hand side, as you can see. So 4.5 metres of fabric in total. It's a lot of fabric, isn't it? Especially designer Schminer, Joel Dewberry. So here we go. We've got a metre of this one. I think, yes. Metre of this one. And then a metre...
Half a metre of that one, I think.
Half a metre of the hexagons.
A metre of that one.
A metre of this one.
Yeah.
It's
a metre of those two.
Or is that half a metre of that
Half
one?
a metre.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Half a metre of this one, a metre of that, a metre of the lovely clouds, and half a metre of that.
Yes.
But then over here you've got all your backing, which is 1.5 metres, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
There we go, got that the right way around. Do apologise. So all of that, 4.5 metres, whew, lovely. Beautiful, 100% cotton, going to be easily washable. $54.95, so you can get this and then know that you've got everything that you need. Grab your Quilt-As-You-Go on top of that and you're good to go.
Yes.
How do we do it though? It's all very well saying, and you're good to go, but what do we do?
Well, when you open your pack, these are the things that come in the pack with the wadding. So it does tell you here your meterage too. It gives you some ideas of another design, actually. So you can make the design that I've done today. But this block here shows you a slightly different formation. So depending on where you choose to put your colours together. So or if you make another one, so you can make it look totally different with the same pattern. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's really good. And you get full instructions, double-sided, very well done instructions.
So it's full instructions to come with you. But of course, just watch the show back on YouTube and you'll be good to go. Yeah. So there we go. This is your hopscotch block. It's one of those things. It's like if you tongue twister, say it many times over. Hopscotch block. So this is how it comes.
And this is how it comes. When you open the packet of batting, it comes in 2 strips with 3 blocks printed,
and they're printed
on each one.
It?
Yep. So I've used, obviously we've got one on the go, which is because we've got a spare one.
So
now.
then you, cut it down even further?
Yes, the instructions tell you the initial stage is to cut around the edge of the blocks leaving a 1-inch margin, and they've printed it with 2 inches, so that's great because you just do one cut down the centre of those. And it's fusible too. So it's so you've got the print of the pattern on the one side, and then there is actually a fusible adhesive on that side. And so you then cut all your squares of your backing fabric to 17-inch square, I think. That's
what you get. It shows you exactly where to place your fabrics, and then here fuses onto the back of the fleece there. This is excellent. And
you don't press the iron very heavy, you just sort of lightly, you don't press down on it because you don't want to...
take the squidge out of your batting.
So, and just with the downward steam button, so the steam will help the adhesive.
Oh, really? Because often you don't use the steamer, do you? So all a little bit different. Now, this makes our end product, which is this, there we go, there it is in all its glory, very achievable. Yeah. Doesn't it?
The other thing that the instructions tell you to do, because of the technique that we're going to use, it's a little bit like foundation piecing. So we're actually working on the top of the wadding.
Okay.
And normally when you're piecing, you'd press every seam.
Yes.
And because we're working with a polyester wadding, when we come to press the seam, if you were pressing the seam open, you would burn or melt the wadding. So because we don't press in between each seam, we finger press.
Okay.
The instructions...
So does that mean that there needs to be different preparation for the material?
The instructions advise that you starch the fabrics beforehand.
Okay.
Double starch them, actually. If you watch there is a YouTube video as well. So starch the fabrics before you cut, and then once you've cut them all, restarch them. And so I did wonder, actually, if that was, it's some extra preparation. I wondered whether it'd be worth it, but I think it is, personally.
You think definitely do that. Do your starching. If you need starch... We've got it here. This is Mary Ellen's Best Press. It's basically clear starch.
And it makes your work smell divine.
Well, this is it. You open the packet with that.
Lovely.
What's that? Smells amazing. It does. It smells
really
gorgeously fresh.
Yeah.
And that's what your best press is going to do. So, not essential, but it is recommended.
Yes, it is recommended.
It's one of those things, isn't it? You can make your life more difficult, or you can make your life easier.
Yeah.
This makes your life easier. So for $4.95, RDEQ08. This, again, another version of this sold out last time we brought it to air. So grab it. If you missed it last time, grab the best press now, grab your quilt now, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
So then we've done some of the cutting because we've cut the batting and the backing.
Yes.
And then the instructions will talk about, it gives you the instructions of what to cut for one block.
Okay.
So then you can just work out how to multiply
However many
that up.
blocks you decide
because
to
if
do.
you wanted to make a bigger quilt, of course, you could buy 2 packs.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This is what we were saying earlier. Because it is, you just sort of join each block on. So you are still doing, and this is what it's taken me a little while to get my head around. You are still doing patchworking by blocks.
Yes.
It's just that it's pre-quilted.
Pre-quilted, yeah.
And that's why it took me a while to get my head round. Yeah. I think of it as quilting by numbers, but it's so much more than that, isn't it? Brilliant if you are worried about quilting an end product.
Firstly, Quilt-As-You-Go is perfect if you're working on a domestic-sized machine and you want to make a large quilt. Getting that under the machine to quilt.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah, that's why so many people send them away to be quilted.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, I know lots of ladies that love the patchwork side and don't really enjoy the quilting side that much at the end, so they do beautiful piecing, but then sort of, maybe just straight line the quilting. And with this technique, I think it's lovely, actually. It gives a lovely texture.
Should we have a look at that, actually, just very, very briefly?
And it's almost like it's been perfectly quilted in the ditch. So, you know,
well,
the wadding's...
effectively it has, hasn't it, really?
But because you've done it on the other side with the piecing, you don't actually see the stitch, but it still gives the impression of that.
Very clever. And, of course,
So
we've chosen fabrics
texture
for you. We've chosen beautiful Joel Dewberry. I can't... Again, they're giving me tongue twisters all over the place. So what we've got here, you've got your purples and pinks. The pinks, obviously, from that purple triangular design here. We love the clouds. You see that then coordinates. You've got the pink that is also in the hexagonal and also up in the clouds, but then you've got that deep pink of the birds, again, is in the hexagonals. It's just beautifully thought out. And then you've got this mustardy yellow, again, in with the hexagonals there, but also... Oh, it just picks out, doesn't it? It's fresh.
It's reflected in there.
Really fresh.
Really lovely.
So you're going to get 4.5 metres. So if you actually want to make this, or if you've got another project in mind, but this is the colourway that you love, then go for it. This is all the fabric, £54.95, SKGC 41. So 4 Joel Dewberry designs and your spot on, which is your backing one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
let's get going.
What you would do is you would cut all your pieces out.
Okay.
So I've cut here for one.
So best press them.
Yes. Starch your fabrics. They recommend you double starch them. So
really?
I starch the fabric initially before I cut it, then cut them, then re-starch them.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So it just gives them that little bit more body. So that you get all your pieces cut out, and then we'll begin. So this is my initial centre square, and I don't know.
And it does say number 1.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera can pick up on that actually.
Just there, number 1.
There are numbers in each shape, actually on the wadding.
So it's literally...
It is numbered to tell you which order to go. And unlike foundation piecing, if you've done foundation piecing before, you normally stitch on the line. Right. The lines on this are for fabric position.
Okay,
not
so
for
just
stitching on.
So a half-inch difference in your mind, in your thinking.
Yeah, that's right.
Quarter of an inch, sorry.
So they're positioned so that when you've cut your pieces, you can position the fabric within that square, and we're just going to... You don't pin all the time, but we'll just pin the initial few. So you don't need to pin all the way through, just to hold that from shifting too much. And then number 2 and 3 are here either side. You tend to work in opposite ways. Okay. So we're going to put this right sides together along there. Oh. Okay.
I'm starting
I know you were dying to know, weren't you, this morning?
I just couldn't work it out.
It's so difficult sometimes to explain.
And, you know, as much as you are fabulous as explaining, I was still sitting there. I've not had a lot of sleep, I'll be honest. It was one of those nights with the little one when you just go, so, yeah, I think I just wasn't quite with it. Okay. Sitting there looking, going...
How does it work?
The end effect looks amazing, but I have no idea how we get there, so I was really looking forward to seeing this show. Yeah.
So now what I'm going to do is you use the edge of the fabric to line your foot up with, and I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch in to do that. So if I just do this first one.
So actually, very achievable. You've put your walking foot on because you're going through 3 layers of fabric here. It's up to you. Best results will be using a walking foot. I know not everybody has one.
Yeah, if you don't have one,
but if you're going to start quilting, you know, it's maybe one of those things to think about getting. But, you know, a lot of the machines these days do actually come with them, don't they?
And sometimes if you've bought a quilting kit, absolutely, yeah, they do. So I've just gone to the end there. Pull that out. When I watched the tutorial that the designer's done for this, she just snipped the threads off, but that may have been because she's just showing you the process.
Oh, you don't know, do you?
You don't know.
No one there like me.
I'll just snip these off.
Why do you do that then? You better have that. I might not say it in that voice. Yeah, producer Paul saying, Natasha, I never want to hear that again. No, but you don't.
So. What I found the technique as I worked on this project worked really well is if you then pull your threads to the inside, they're then covered with the next layer that goes on.
So you're kind of stitching them in, aren't you?
Yeah, so you can do a little back stitch, you know, at the front and back of each seam, but if you just pull them to the inside, then they're going to be trapped within the next seam. So if I take this pin out, I'll just show you, we've stitched along there, and the reason why you want your fabric to have body is now because we fold this back.
Finger press.
We finger press that.
This is the quilting for me, not ironing.
And no ironing. It's no pressing.
This is brilliant.
And you fold that back, and it should fit within your next line.
This is amazing.
Of your, it's almost like a jigsaw, isn't it?
Yeah.
Putting that together, so we can just pin that. So I'm going to do the next one.
Works with how my brain works.
Okay.
I remember when this product was first raised as to whether or not to bring this to air, and it was quite divided. There were those that said, well, it's not real quilting, is it?
Okay.
But it is.
Just going to pin that one.
And then actually there were those that went, yes, but this makes it very achievable, very doable. If you're starting out, then brilliant. And if you don't have an all singing, all dancing machine with a huge arm, that means you can get all of your rolled up fabric underneath to quilt, then this is a really great way of doing it. And this is the finished product. Let's take a look at this. There you go. You see that? I'd be well chuffed if I'd made that.
Yeah. It's
really chuffed.
I say, and the actual end result, the texture is really quite nice.
It's lovely.
Yeah,
it's really lovely. It's a proper quilted effect that you're getting. And so there were those that said yay, those that said but it's not proper patchwork, and those that said actually whether it's proper patchwork or not, $8.95 for all of that batting is a great price anyway.
Okay.
So whichever way you look at it, what a great product really to bring.
Yeah.
And then, because we know that at home you like to make exactly what you see, you know, you get inspired. Angie brings us these beautiful things and you get inspired. We've bundled you the exact right amount of fabric, so there's no worrying and waiting for it to arrive and then having to choose the fabrics. It's all there bundled for you. So from right to left, 1/2 metre of the triangles, 1 metre of the clouds, 1/2 metre of the mustard, 1 metre of your hexagons, and then 1.5 metres of your spot. Boom. Yes.
There we go.
So the spots are at the back. That's your. That's why we tried to keep the cost down for you, because we were aware that Joel Dewberry is a top designer, so obviously has a price point. To us as well as to you, you know, obviously. So the spots there, that's Macawa, it's 100% cotton, which helps just to keep the cost down. But what we've managed to do is obviously make sure that the colours work and go together, which is difficult for you to do when you're at home to match on the screens. You know, you'd have to actually get up and go out.
Yes. Yeah. And the backing is, there's a lot of backing, you know.
There is a lot of backing.
So then that's
Hang on,
great.
actually, that's a point. Can I just show the back? Because... Look at that. But it's all quilted as well. It's lovely.
Quilted
really lovely.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do this morning to show you is how the technique works of the Quilt-As-You-Go, and then how we join the pieces, because obviously Quilt-As-You-Go is it's a bona fide way of quilting. Like you say, not everyone can fit a king-size quilt under their machine. No. So that's a proper technique. It's this bit that's a little bit unique in the way it's fusing foundation piecing and quilting at the same time. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next point, because I think of you as, you know, a top-notch quilter, and so if you're loving this, that says to me, good job.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So now I'm just pinning. So you don't have, once you've got a few pieces in place, you don't have to pin. But I'm going to try now. I'm going to put the long ones on either side of this here. And again, line the foot up with the edge of the fabric.
Now, normally in quilting, triangles are something that I hear a small amount of fear in quilters' voices when they discuss triangles. Is that the case here?
Well, you've got when piecing triangles, you've got the points to worry about. Are they going to match nice and neatly and accurately? And then the other thing is, once you've cut fabric, you've got the bias, so they can stretch.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things here, but because this is all sort of stabilised on the backing as you're stitching, they're really not that difficult at all.
That's good.
To stitch.
This is very good.
Yeah.
Now, when you pull these, stitches through, it means that you're just going to stitch over the top.
I might not do it on everyone today, but I just thought I'd mention that because I found it. You know, it's like anything, isn't it? When you make something, then you work out the best way.
Yeah, and also you don't want it coming unravelled in any way, shape or form.
And then you've
Especially
not got,
if this is a gift.
You won't have the tails that side to worry about tying in or whatever, so they're just tied in this side.
I like that idea.
They're a bit long.
Then all there.
Yep, they're all.
This is coming together
encapsulated.
pretty quickly. Look at this.
Yeah, I think each block really, when I was stitching them, takes about half an hour.
So the time is in the
piecing.
preparation and the cutting and the pressing,
Like,
isn't it?
Like any quilt, really, I think, if you think about it. A little bit more time in the starching, but a quilt takes a long time to cut out all the pieces.
Of course it does.
But then this tends to come together really quickly.
Now, we mentioned the starching. Best Press is the starch, the spray and starch that we've got for you today. And that is what is allowing Angie to not press in between each sew, which means that actually once you've got all your pieces cut out and gone and ready to cut, ready to quilt rather, you are just good to go, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Which actually is brilliant. So you're not having to keep getting up and go and iron and then, you know, come back. This is environmentally friendly. It's got a lovely fragrance to it, so your work smells fresh as you go. It is a clear starch that's going to stay in your work, or you can wash it out. It doesn't matter. Once, obviously, you've done the quilt. Oh, ask about our other scents. This is linen fresh. Nice.
My little scissors.
Oh, I've got a stop warning. What? Oh, what? Oh, no. Oh.
What are we low on?
Oh, here we go. So, if you love the hopscotch quilt as you go, please grab it now, because stocks are now starting to run low. Well, we ran out of this last time. Last time we bought a quilt as you go. If you have it in your basket, please check out. Pop in some Best Press. If you check out now, you'll get it. How much longer I can say that for? You know, the next few people that start to add it, then we get into a situation. Lots of you multi-buying because you want to either make multiple quilts or make a big old quilt.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. I think this is 24 by 36. No idea what that is in centimetres, but they're 12-inch blocks.
Okay.
So that's why it's
yes.
Yeah.
So a 12-inch block. That's we'll work that out in a minute. But
it's about 90 by 60, then, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of
centimetre of the
of
size
sizing
in that pack.
centimetres. But that's one pack, so obviously if you want more,
A larger quilt.
but check out your basket now for that. Pop in your Best Press linen spray as well, because that means that you're going to get the best effect from your fabric.
Does help.
Because you're investing in your fabric. Here's the fabric that we've got for you, 4.5 metres in total, $54.95. You get from right to left, half a metre of that purple and pink, a metre of your clouds, half a metre of that lovely yellow, a metre of the hexagons, and 1.5 meters of your backing dots.
There we go. So look, we've got our centre.
That's done.
We've got our centre done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the numbering.
Already done. And look, you can see the relief.
Yes.
Not just on Angie's face.
It's like embossed.
But the relief of the actual quilting.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
It's really lovely.
Because this is the thing. I hadn't realised until I started here the difference between patchwork and quilting. Of course, a patchwork is...
Two different things, yeah.
It only becomes quilting once that patchwork has your patchwork top, your middle layer, and your bottom, and once they are sewn through all three.
Yeah, two different techniques completely.
It's amazing, isn't it? One left of the hopscotch. If you want it, please check your basket out now. Otherwise, you're going to miss out.
That's what I was saying. Some people love piecing.
Yes.
But they don't really enjoy the quilting side. So this is brilliant.
I find the quilting side quite daunting because I've gone to all of that trouble to make a quilt, and then what happens if I mess up?
Yeah.
You know,
that's it. A lot of people are scared.
That's why this has been fab.
Yeah.
But it also, for me, it's about getting the right colours and the right fabrics, and that's why I've bundled it together. So if you love this, and you absolutely want to make exactly that, then this is the fabric. It might be that Quilt-As-You-Go is something that, you know, doesn't float your boat, but you love the fabrics and you want to, you know, you make your own blocks.
You might have another pattern in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with those fabrics.
Then you've got 4.5 meters of fabric, which is enough for a big old quilt.
I have to say the fabrics, I was a little worried about this one with such a triangular design on.
Okay.
And cutting, you know, how it would work, cutting it to use in the triangles. And obviously, if you've got a directional one, like we've got these lovely birds in the clouds, but actually whichever way up you put this, there are some birds that are the right way up, so that's fab.
Non-directional birds.
So I actually,
we like this. Gravity, it's not a thing for them.
I didn't worry when I put the blocks together, and actually some of the triangles are cut slightly off because the print's not always straight on one side, you know, on one side of your bolt. It works. It doesn't actually throw it off at all, so it's really good for that.
So a great starter fabric bundle then for whichever design of quilt you decide to go for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 100% cotton and a lovely weight from a top designer.
So now we'll try some triangles, shall we? So we have 6 and 7, so we'll go opposites there. So for the triangles, what I tried to do is I just folded it in half and gave myself a little finger crease just to get an idea of a halfway mark. Then I could sort of put that halfway, looking at where that aligns there, bring it back to here. And then you can also just eyeball whether you've got enough, the same amount sort of hanging over each edge, just to make that centre. And obviously, if it looks centred there, that's about right, lined up on the blue line. I say we're now at the point that we don't really need to pin. We can just put that under the machine, and I'm going to sew down that one.
So
if I can get it under
walking foot has a 1/4 inch foot sort of toe, if you will, to one side.
It doesn't have any markings on the walking foot. This machine has got an actual stitch that I can set the needle offset to a 1/4 inch from the edge of the foot.
Oh, that's clever.
My machine at home, I just move the needle across to its furthest position right, and that gives me a 1/4 inch to my walking foot. You just, you know, depending on your machine and your foot, but they don't generally have 1/4 inch markings on.
You see, my 1/4 inch foot I've kind of fallen a bit in love with. I finally worked out which one it was.
Yes.
Well, it looked different from the ones that we have here. So I went home and rummaged through all of my feet, which are all in a box with the instructions. Had a good rummage through. And actually, my 1/4 inch foot's very clever because it's also got 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and it's got the markings behind it as well and on the side. So if you come in, it's very clever.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, these sewing-y type, sewing machine type
not just
people, they know their stuff, don't they?
Not just the needle to the edge, you've got, if you're stitching along to the edge of a piece of fabric, you can stop. Yeah.
No, it's great.
So there's our first one.
So I would say get to know your machine, that's the thing, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Perfect, Angie, perfect.
And it just sits, and then you can just start moving your pins just
that in there.
Just to hold it in place.
Is there a little bit of movement with the batting itself? Because...
Yes, I mean, obviously to print onto batting's not easy. So, you know, some of the, when I was working with them, like some of the outer triangles, they weren't necessarily sitting, it's like here really, it's not sitting right to the edge, but as long as we're going to be stitching within that, obviously you want to try and press it nice and tightly to the seams. Yes. But it just works. It comes together in the end. So
it's all working together nicely. You know, whether it's the Quilt-As-You-Go, whether it's because of the spray, whether it's because it's the fabric. You know, the fabric is what makes it here, isn't it? 4.5 metres of designer. So
now we're going to go with our next one. Just line that up. We're about good to go there.
Line it up and ready to go. It is, seriously, it is quilting by numbers. I'm a bit captivated by this. It's really lovely.
It is a lovely and the colours, like you say, the depth to the stitching is really nice. It's an invisible stitching in the ditch.
Yes, yes, stitch in the ditch. It's just a different technique, isn't it? Once you get your head around the fact that it's not your traditional quilting as you might know it, but it's just a different way of doing things. Yeah, I just think it's really interesting fusion of techniques, really. I quite enjoyed it. But this is the way that things evolve, isn't it? Yeah. And so I didn't think of quilting as evolving because, you know, it's such an old art, if you will. But this is great. This is always moving forward. Yeah. I just assumed that it was the different fabrics that you use that brought things up to date. You know, with here, we've got a very modern, fresh design here. There we go. Look at that. Really lovely. Got our first two on there. Now I'm going to go up. I'm going to continue working with my triangle. How did you decide which of the fabrics to work with? To put where? Yeah. I actually looked at the obviously the colours of them and the their tone.
and then looked at the pattern and decided what would...
How you wanted to do it.
Yeah, you want something to pop against the yellow rather than, you know, two similar next to each other. So, yeah.
Right, finished item. This is what we're making. So very, very achievable. Whether you are using the Quilt-As-You-Go, I have to tell you that the best press is starting to run low as well. The fabric we have bundled for you. We've tried to make this out as easy for you as we possibly can. So not only did we bring you quilting by numbers, we've brought you the spray to make the job easy, and then we've put the fabric together for you so that it all arrives in one glorious bundle and you are ready to go. If you need to add in tools for the job, like a 12.5-inch ruler, because this is a 12-inch finished block, isn't it?
Yes.
Then let's have a look at this. These are your creative grids. Angie, were you the first person to bring these to us?
The creative grids?
Yes.
No, I don't think so, no. But I don't think we've had the 12.5. I've been asking for a 12.5-inch square for months. Because
Oh, the relief then to get
yes,
it. Finally
really nice
get
today.
Because I treat you see.
When I started quilting, you start with the 6.5 by 24.
Yes.
And then I bought a 9.5-inch square.
Okay.
And then my next one, because I was working on a 12.5-inch block quilt, was a 12.5-inch
So this
square.
actually fits
my next. Yeah.
This fits this project perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly.
So $23.95 creative grids. If this is new to you, if this is a company that you've never heard of before, let me give you the key aspects
They
of
are
it.
fantastic rulers, aren't they?
They are
really good.
with patented. Twiddly bit. So along the top here, you've got all of your inches, and so any measurement that you see in white are your inches. I'm gonna twizzle. This now gives you it with a 1/2-inch seam allowance. I like. So there you go. That's all of your with your 1/2-inch seam allowance in there. Then you'll notice down here. Can you see? This is sort of opaque to that 1/2-inch, and opaque along the top to a 1/2-inch. Over here, 1/4 inch is opaque. And these circles here, that is an embedded non-slip grip. And these are little stoppers. They're actually, it's kind of in. If I swivel it around, you can see it's actually kind of in the plastic, which is quite amazing. So they're not going to drop off. You know, some of the rulers, they've got those little knobbly plasticky bits.
Oh, yes, additional,
Yeah. Not here. This means it doesn't matter, because you've got the grip all the way around the edges. It doesn't matter how small the fabric is, it's not going to slip, and that's what you want. You don't want to waste your fabric or anything like that. So we're bringing you the right tools for the grip. You've got your 45-degree mark there. We've also got black and white markings, so whatever colour fabric, you know, it's going to really show up. I was going to say that, actually,
that's really important, to be able to see it.
$23.95, DHCQ 53. Right, I think the spray has now sold out. Let's get rid of that. Well done if you managed to get it. There might be one left. There's lots of you trying to get it.
That's the beauty of the show, really. It's like I didn't have anyone telling me to buy creative grid rulers when I set out.
That's the thing,
and so then if you've already, sometimes then you want to replace what you have for better products when you really get into your craft.
Says, buy cheap, buy twice. It's just not worth it at all. And I'm with him. This is a creative grids, things like that are a top of the range ruler. Treat yourself, because it just makes your whole hobby so much easier. Yeah. Whoa, hang on.
There we go. We've got the
I blinked
first
and look
round.
what you did. That's amazing.
First round of triangles on.
Awesome.
So now we're onto the larger outer ones. And these ones, I do exactly the same.
Find that halfway point.
Find my halfway point, but this time I've got the point here to line it up.
Okay.
Rather than I was
sort of the
looking
crossover
opposite.
of where those dog ears are.
Yeah. So which way? It doesn't really matter at this point, as long as we go. I think
we've
it's
got
this
10.
one. Yeah, we'll do that one.
11.
12,
no,
13,
here, look.
10.
10, 11, 12, 13. It's all on the instructions, isn't it, as well?
So then we're going to go, I'm just going to mark my crease, line that up there. Sometimes if your fabric goes over, like this one is, and I can't quite see where the line is, what I did was just extended.
Oh, okay.
Just extend your line out here if your fabric has, because there is some shift in as we're working. And then that's easy then, to just see to the edges. It's more easy to see.
I could do this.
Yeah, Yeah, it's really cool.
I could really do this.
You're going to be taking one home if there's any left.
I think it's sold out.
Or maybe you can finish this one.
I could, yes.
Yes.
I could. You see, this is the trouble. We don't release the stock until the show starts. And so if I'm on air and it sells out, it's gone, don't get a chance to get it.
Annoyed.
And producer Paul won't buy it for me. No. How rude. He says he's not my personal shopper. I don't know. Yeah.
Would you trust giving him your credit card details?
Yeah. You see now our director Tim's saying he'll buy it, but there's a 10% fee. That's so mean. So mean. I don't know. He says it's business. It's nothing personal, it's business.
Yeah, business.
Whilst you speedily put those triangles together, I'm so impressed at how quickly this comes together. Look at that, with perfect points all over the place.
That one did actually sit perfect there. So now we're just, I'll continue with the next three.
Excellent.
And we'll try and get to show you the next stage then of how you join.
Which is the favourite fabric out of these?
Do we know?
No, do you have a favourite?
Oh, do I have a favourite? I actually love the honeybee hexagons. Yeah, I love that. It's really cool.
See, I love the clouds and the birds.
It's very reminds me of Top of the Pops.
Yes, yes.
It's the typography style.
Yes, it is, isn't it? A little bit retro now.
Don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah. Here we go. This is. Oh, let me show you the hexagon because this is Angie's favourite.
Oh, I love this. It's gorgeous.
Hey, look at all this. You're getting a lot, aren't you? Was there any left over? Or did you use it all?
No, actually, because I think the pattern... I think you need a quarter of a metre maybe for the smaller elements. So the ones where you've got half a metre of you definitely... Well, there's a little bit left over in each, apart from the backing. Okay. The backing is absolutely quite precise.
Spot on, I was going to say. Excuse the pun, no pun intended.
But you will have of the designer fabrics, you should have a little bit left over for a nice other small project.
God, that's a lot, isn't it? What I'm learning from all of our designers is about the different colours and different patterns, and I think that's sometimes what daunts people with a quilt is that actually where do I start? But here you've got different colours. Well, I say different colours. You've got different patterns, different styles, but the colours all link. So with the hexagon, you've got that lovely yellowy mustard, and then you've got a whole piece of this, which then reflects the dots that you're getting on your spot on for your backing fabric. Was it you that's got yellow in your kitchen?
I've got orange in my kitchen actually, but I wear a lot of yellow.
Do you? Generally. Is that your colour? Yeah. So half a metre of the yellowy mustardy. I don't know what the proper colour term is. Yellowy mustardy. It's a great description, that isn't it? Mustardy. Sounds delicious. Yellowy mustardy. But of course, the spot there is reflected. Well, that's why we chose the spot. Oh, let me show you this. This is your. Do you want to see how much of this you get? Whoa! There's a lot. There's loads. Whoa! You don't use all this, do you?
Well, it's because although they're 12-inch blocks, you cut out to the backing is cut out at 17 inches squares.
Okay, right.
Because then you cut it down, and then you have got a little bit for the sashing on the back, as well for the joining strips on the back. So yeah,
that's so clever. Always looks like I'm about to do a magic trick, doesn't it? You know, have I changed outfit? No, I haven't. If you'd like to get in touch, good morning. We'd love to hear from you. And also, any questions for Angie as well. This isn't the only quilt that we've got today. We are quilt-tastic, quite frankly, today here at the Sewing Quarter. So if you'd like to get in touch, here's how. Head to our website, sewingquarter.com, and then you click on the watch button, which is 3 in from the top left. There we go. Watch, and then if you scroll down, message the studio. That comes straight through to producer Paul. And then, but if you have lots to say, you've got pictures to send us, then please do email, which is studio@sewingquarter.com. And then, of course, products that we've got on the show today, any that are left. Oh, look, there's your creative grids. Nice. Then do... Oh, look. Oh, hello. We're going in for a close-up. Oh, and there's the rocket. That's coming up at 10. You can tell that we've got boys directing and producing. They just can't keep away from the rocket
They've
today,
had enough of the pink candy fabric.
Quick.
They need some male fabric for a little bit.
Absolutely.
I'm
Catering for all today.
I'm not pulling all these ends through because I want to make sure I get round to showing the viewers. You can take your time and do that. Yeah, the Quilt-As-You-Go. So, so there we are with the last one in place.
That was super quick.
Yeah, so like you say, with any quilt really, you spend time doing all the cutting out and the prep. But the beauty of this is that you are quilting as you go. As I haven't pulled through some of my ends, but you're already getting that. The quilting design is worked out for you as you piece, so that's quite nice. You haven't had to make the decision just to do straight lines.
Well, there we go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, apologies to everyone that missed out on the pattern. We've had a few messages. We will get it back as soon as we can. And also, always give us a call, 0800 112 4433. It is free to do so. So we've run out of the quilt, we've run out of the best press, but we do still have some of the fabric because, you know, we knew that that would be very popular, so we made sure we got loads and loads and loads of that for you. So you can still get that. It might be that you are quilting as you go. It might be that actually you just want a large stash of fabric for your own quilting project. You know, there are so many of you out there that are so talented and so gifted and just know exactly what designs you want to do. So let us provide you with gorgeous fabrics, designer fabrics that are just going to work. I want to show you this one, the top of the pops one, as it shall henceforth be known. I'm sure that Joel Dewberry would be absolutely thrilled to know that we think of his work as top of the pops. Now, Joel Dewberry, of course, is... he's a graphic designer as well as an artist and a general craftsman. Very talented chap. And I think that really comes through in his work here because you can see non-directional as well. We're very careful with all of the prints that we've picked for you. Because the Quilt-As-You-Go can be a beginner project, we wanted to put in fabrics that you didn't have to worry about direction. So you can see the birds can fly in either direction. And also the rain's coming down in either direction. So it doesn't matter if it's that way or let me spin it around just to really make the point. It just doesn't matter.
And even when the clouds were sort of vertical, it's just a pattern.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. That's a storm. It's a storm coming, Angie. Angie, what are you doing over there?
What I'm doing now, I've got all the pieces down, is I'm just putting a zigzag around the edge just to hold those outer pieces in place. Which I'll be able to show you when I take it from underneath the machine. And then we're going to start trimming back. So I'm just...
So a little zigzag to hold everything in place.
Just to hold the outer pieces in place.
And that will show through on the back, or will it not?
No, that will be totally hidden, so you don't have to worry about that. So that will actually become in your sashing area. So that bit isn't part of your...
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
About threads.
Okay.
Okay. Every time you take it off the machine, you pull the thread and then you snip, rather than using the cut function on the machine. Is that because it's not a machine that you're used to, or is it because you want that extra thread to pull through?
No, sometimes if I'm just normal piecing, I always use the scissor function on this machine.
Right.
But with something like this where we're actually quilting as we go, you either want those long tails to either be trapped somewhere or to have been sewn in, tied off and sewn in. If I was to use the scissor function, you get about
hardly any, do you?
Between a quarter and half an inch.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with that, really? So you can't tie it in or knot it off anywhere.
Okay.
So yes, in this
there's
instance,
a time and a place for that scissor function, but it's not right here.
No.
Okay, good. Just checking because it is one of those things, isn't it? Do I actually want those threads? Yes, you do.
Yeah. If I'd have used the scissor function here, I'd have a really short tail, and then it might come unravelled. Whereas with that, I can choose to tie it in and stitch it in. So that's all done.
Wow, super quick.
What I'm going to do now is the instructions tell you to trim back to half an inch from the actual printed line.
Do you need this one or that one?
I'm going to use the long one for this one, and then we can check the square as we go. So I'll just line up on my 1/2 inch.
So a quarter of an inch or half an inch?
Half an inch at this. You do, right at the very end, when you've got all your bits together, you trim to 1/4 of an inch, just before the binding goes on. But at this point, sorry, it's because I'm not tall enough for that. We
raise the desks, and we do make it quite difficult, I think, sometimes for us. Thank you ever so much, Patricia, for your message. Lovely to hear from you. Jill as well. Thank you for getting involved. Geraldine as well, and Madeline has asked a question. Do you have to use marked wadding, or can you do this with any wadding?
Well, this comes pre-marked. That's the beauty of it, that you're not having to. I guess you could try and mark out your own pattern.
So it's a technique that you could...
But you'd have to work out all the seam allowances and everything in, but you could have a go. But I just... Sometimes you want to just a nice, easy... You know, you want to enjoy the sewing for the sewing and not have to spend too much time designing it.
Well, that's the
sometimes
thing,
there's a project like that, so...
Because imagine if you marked it all out, cut all your material, and you marked it out, or you hadn't done your seam allowances right. That's why getting something designed for the job is so good. But you might be proficient enough to manage it, in which case I salute you. You are streaks ahead of me, and well done.
They take a lot of planning and testing, designing things. So there we are, all trimmed down to 1/2 inch around.
Now, you wanted to show us how to join.
Yes.
Is that where we're getting to?
We are getting to that.
Oh, well done.
What I'm going to do now, another step, is I have to mark, although we've got the outside line, we then mark 1/2 inch with a fabric pen all the way around on the front and the back.
Oh, really? Why?
Because this is what we're going to line up the sashing with.
Ah, okay.
So this gives you a guide to line the sashing, so I'll just quickly draw this in.
So if there was any wonk with your sewing, then this takes that away, doesn't it?
Yes. What you can do now is, you might find that one of the blocks is a little bit off, or one of your triangles didn't quite meet. Then if you've got a 12.5 inch rule, then that's the time now to sort of square it up.
Okay.
So there we are.
It's going to be a sturdy piece, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's actually sturdy to work. It's not like working with flimsy piecing. It's actually, well, you saw I hardly pinned going to the machine. Just place the fabric, really.
Has the fabric helped with this because of the quality of it?
Yes, it is. It is a good, very, good quality weight cotton. Oh dear, got a bit of a bird's nest. Oh no, it's come away. Because it's a really it's a nice quilting weight cotton. It's a bit stiffer.
Sometimes I think, especially if you're starting out, there is always a temptation to go with a cheaper fabric because you're not sure if you're going to be any good at it. You don't want to waste it, but actually. If you go with what is meant for the job, and this is a quilting weight fabric, and it's designed to do this, then you are absolutely spot on, aren't you? Because it just means that it's just going to help you. It's going to absolutely help you along the way. So if you were lucky enough to have got hold of the hopscotch block, then this is the perfect amount of material. If your fabric's a bit lightweight, it can be a bit shifty, as I call it. Shifty, yes, I heard you. But this is the perfect material for the job, and it's the correct amount, and the colours work beautifully together, as you can see. Hooray!
I think I've just got time, haven't I, to show the join? This is good.
Now this is something that you were very clear you wanted to show.
Yes.
So let's see how we join these.
If you've never done Quilt-As-You-Go before, then this will, you might think, how does all that work? So it's quite clever again. I've got another block here that I've prepared in exactly the same way. We've just marked 1/2 inch in all the way around. And the instructions tell you to cut different size sashing strips. So we've got 14-inch ones which will go on the front.
Okay.
I think they're about 2 inches. And for the back, this is 3.5 inch wide by 14, and you're instructed to press it in half.
Right.
So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to, I'll just point out with this particular design, I designed my squares so that where we go through to the yellow, through to white, they all faced inwards.
Oh, nice. Yes.
But, you know.
It's just a small detail that makes it, that really just makes it stand out.
So if you have done any fussy cutting like that, just make sure your blocks are facing the right way before you start to join them. We join them in pairs and then join the pairs to each other as we go down.
So that's going red to yellow, to yellow,
they all
meeting.
go on the inside. So we just take one of the squares, and I'm going to put this along that ½ inch mark that I've drawn on there, and just pin that in place. This is right sides together.
Right. And is this, again, along the same lines? Are you just going to sew in from that edge?
Yeah, I am.
But is there going to be something on the other side?
It's because it's all been worked out for you that this is trimmed to ½ inch, so there'll be an inch in between, and then the sashing strips cover. So it's all the maths has been worked out for you.
It's very clever, isn't it?
Along the same edge, we turn it over, and then your folded piece of sashing, piece that's folded in half, we put that with the raw edge to raw edge.
Okay, yes.
But again, along the marked line.
Gosh, it's mesmerising, isn't it?
It is. It's very clever.
Yeah, the more that it comes together, the more that you do, the more I'm in awe of it, going, wow, that really is very, very clever.
It is a really good way. And I'm going to, as you say, try not to just go slowly because of pins being there. I'm going to sew 1/4 inch down there now.
Awesome. Let me show you this fabric again. Here we go. This one here is your triangles. So you've got the pink and then just a little splash of purple in there for you. But then this, the pink from that is the pink from here. And then you see you take the pink again. So the pink seems to be the overriding theme, but you've got the two different. We go from the purple and take the pink from there, and then you take the pinks, and then you've got the pale pink and the deep pink, which again is in that design. But then you see, boom, we go and throw in that gorgeous yellow, which again is in the hexagon, so it all works together. And then we give you a backing sheet, which of course is, well, it has the spots that you've got from that design, and also is the similar pink there to work exactly. These are your 4 designer fabrics. These are all Joel Dewberry, and then you've got your spot on from Macau, all 100% cotton, all working perfectly. And the final product, if you manage to secure your quilt as you go, that is what you're going to do. This fabric is helping you to achieve that. We've got the exact right amounts for you so that you're not having to buy excess or the wrong amounts, or then worry that you haven't got the right colour combinations or anything like that. It's all done for you. Taking the stress out of quilting, so you just get the relaxing nice bit.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? So we've just taken those pins out. We're all in place. And now, so these are the 2 that we want to join up. And this will go over here and turn back like this. So the easiest way is to line it up like that, and then I find then to flip it because you want that.
So actually the largest amount of fabric you're ever putting under sort of the arm of your sewing machine is going to be that 12 inches?
Yes, you put these 2 together, and then the largest bit really will be then sewing them in pairs along. Yeah.
So very, very achievable in your machine.
You tend to sew in sort of strips, really, with Quilt-As-You-Go. So here we're just going to line, obviously just making sure that we're lining up so that when it comes together. I might just not even pin that because of time.
She's going for it. She's going for it.
I'd like
and so this is... it is literally Quilt-As-You-Go. So... the wadding is in there, and so there's none of that horrifying, I've done this beautiful patchwork, and now what happens if I mess up with the actual finished quilting bit? No, this gets you used to working with those layers of fabric, which is excellent, and we've chosen the fabrics that really work. Fabrics that are designed for this, built for this, made for this. From a top American designer, Joel Dewberry.
A little tip, after you've done your zigzagging around the edges, when you come to then sew your sashing on, remember to change back to straight stitch.
Oh yes, that's going to help.
Because I just had to unpick a little.
Well, you know, that makes you human.
Yeah, exactly.
Refreshingly human. We don't expect you to do this in an hour at home, of course. You know, take the time. That's where the pleasure is, isn't it? Is being able to take time. Gosh, look at that.
So that's joined on the front, ready to go. And then the back strip, you have, because you have this folded edge, your seams are sitting beautifully. Yeah. Because that's all been trimmed. And then you would just fold that. This needs a little bit of finger pressing again. And then you would slip stitch. Oh, wow. Slip stitch that over the edge there.
That's very clever.
Then you can just trim these flush and do the same. Just keep going. The process works exactly the same, but you cut sort of, I think it's 28-inch strips for the centre joins as you go.
So you could, I mean, you could do this just one great long length, couldn't you? You could do like a table runner.
That's it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Angie, thank you
so
much. I've learnt a whole new technique. I hope that you have at home. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and so achievable. Beautiful fabrics. This is the final product that you'll make when you get the fabric. $54.95 for your Joel Dewberry and Spot On fabric bundle. 4.5 metres, a whopping 4.5 metres. If you design a fabric in there, absolutely stunning. It's fresh, it's modern, it's bang on trend, absolutely beautiful. We're going to see you in an hour's time
with that.
For the first ever blast off here at the Sewing Quarter. But in the meantime, Jenniffer Taylor makes. What will she make? Stay with us to see in just a moment.
Join us on Facebook. Simply search for the Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
So I'm going to be showing you how to do a ladder stitch. Now this is a great stitch when you want to sew something up and create an invisible stitch. So they use very small stitches when you're doing this. So I'm going to be using a needle and thread. I'm going to be using embroidery thread so you can see what I'm doing. And first of all, I'm just going to use the example of something like a pincushion, but I need to bring these two edges together using the invisible stitch, which is known as the ladder stitch. So first of all, I'm going to take my needle up through the fold. So I'm going to be concealing the knot in the thread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle in through the fold of the fabric and come out. So you can see that I'm on the actual fold there. So obviously there's the raw edges are inside my pincushion. I'm going to take that through. Now I'm going to go to the opposite side and repeat that stitch. So I want to make sure that this is parallel. So I'm going to come in through that fold and come out. So again, I'm making these stitches really big so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see how I'm going across the whole of the fabric. So if I just keep doing a few stitches. So as you can see, we have the ladder stitch there going across the two pieces of fabric. So when I pull my thread, you can see that almost makes those stitches invisible.
Did you know there are multiple ways you can contact us, even if it's just to ask a question? Our friendly team are always on standby. You can call our customer service team at 0800 112 4433, email us at help@sewingquarter.com, visit our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter @SewingQuarter, and even message us through our website, and our presenters will answer your questions live on air.
Now, just a quick reminder, welcome back. In an hour's time, we are going to be jet setting with our rocket quilt, so do join us for that. But in the meantime, we've got quilting today, but we've also got dressmaking for you today. So a nice, you know, happy combination of dressmaking, quilting. It's all there for you today. Now, this is what we're making this hour. This is, oh, I can give her a spin. I can give her a twirl. Look at this. Beautiful. The classic pencil skirt. Stylish, sophisticated, really rather lovely. Oh, just keep spinning around. Spinning around. There we go. Now, this fabric is from the same range that we bought you last week with the stripes that you absolutely loved and sold out, the Scandi stripe. This is from the same range. So this is your grey heart. So if you bought that fabric before and maybe you have already decided that you absolutely love how that fabric feels, then this is a great one to add into your stash. We're looking at your Scandi grey hearts, £5.95 per half a metre. Look at that. Lovely. Here it is. Looking right nice. And talking of looking right nice, Jenniffer Taylor. How are you, my
darling? I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Gorgeous in that green today.
Oh, thank you very much. I like this. It's sort of reminiscent of a bit western.
I'll do a bit of country and dancing for you.
I've got my cowboy boots off the floor in this morning. You could have borrowed them.
Let's do it in the break.
Yeah. Now,
yes.
A lot of viewers at home will know you from that there Great British Sewing Bee.
Yeah.
It's true.
It is true.
No word of a lie. You were in the second series.
I was in the second series. It seems like a lifetime ago now.
So much has changed.
So much.
Well, you were working for, what, the water board or something?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I was working for the local water board at the time. I don't know if I'm allowed to say which one, but yeah, you guess from the area I'm from and you'll guess the water board. But yeah, I was a resource coordinator and a debt collector.
Nice. Yeah. From that to sewing quarter.
Yeah.
It's a whole world change, isn't it?
It's been a massive journey.
And it's true to say that the sewing bee's kind of enabled you
to
do that.
Well, from a kind of a learning point of view, it was the best sort of sewing course I could have gone on like ever. I was only like
no stress or pressure there.
No, it was a complete sort of two-footed in the deep end type of course. But yeah, no, I'd only been sewing for I think it was about a year when I went on set. I'd been sewing for a year.
It's not just that your husband entered you without you knowing.
It wasn't my choice. Well, I was kind of like, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to get through anyway, you know, audition or phone call and all these little tasks, that it doesn't matter. Every time we went through another stage of auditions, I was like, they're going to pull the plug, it's fine. And then I just remember just being on set going, I'm here, what happened?
What we've got for you today, we like to challenge you. Have you noticed this?
You're good. I'm a sucker for punishment. I do love it.
Yeah, sorry about that. But we're doing it again. So we've got for you here the Great British Sewing Bee. Now, this is actually from where it all began. This is actually Series 1.
So I was watching Series 1 when I was just finishing off my wedding dress and wanted to learn more tips and tricks because I was getting... That's what kicked it all off, the sewing. After making the wedding dress, I got to do...
Your own
my own wedding dress.
You know, that's the first thing you ever made.
Yeah, that was the first thing I made. But I just wanted to continue sewing. It really became a passion from that point. And Great British Sewing Bee for me, that started the whole thing. So I was tuning in with you guys at home and getting tips and tricks.
We've got the book. So this is the beautiful hardback version.
It is nice.
I love
a good
the hardback. It's got inspiring products, technical know-how, and it's also got 25 fabulous garments and homewares, would you believe?
So there's bits in there from the actual... So there's certain tasks in there that were on the bee, and then there's other projects to go alongside it as well. So you can sew along with the bees.
Oh, nice.
Which is
you can be a busy bee.
Yeah.
So we've chosen out of here for you today It's not the bow tie.
No.
It's coming along.
Oh, I wish you did. That would have been it.
That'll be the 10-minute show that we've done for you. What page was
dress
it
is really
on?
cute.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Actually, there's so much in here, isn't there?
Yeah, there is lots in there. Lots of projects.
I do love a pencil skirt, and I was really thrilled that
Well, I think
there it is.
So it's a good wardrobe staple, I think.
Perfect for your day to night workwear through to possibly you wouldn't have your midriff showing necessarily.
No.
But-
Well, I wouldn't, but you know, a good vest.
Yes, a good vest or a little shirt or a blouse or something lovely. So this is the skirt that we're making today. For me, my height is in. I'm tall in my. I've got long legs and a short body.
I'm stood next to you, darling.
I'm going to point out the obvious. So for me, finding a pencil skirt, they always stop too high.
Yes. Well, this is
really
the beauty
hard.
about being able to make your own clothes. You can lengthen and shorten as you see fit.
Whatever fabric you choose.
Absolutely.
Now, off the back of the Scandi stripe being so popular, we gave you the Scandi heart.
You did? You gave me two of them.
We're so generous.
You're lovely.
We gave you it in the grey, we gave it to you in the red as well. So the book you can grab, it's $19.95. The fabric is $5.95. How much material do you need to make that skirt?
Oh, you've closed the page now.
Metre and a half,
I think it's a
wasn't it?
metre and a half.
Yes.
Was that part of the test?
It's 1.3 metres. So a metre and a half.
Metre and a half. And that's to make the largest size in the pattern. So, yeah, that will cover all bases. Yeah.
Cover everything.
Cover all the bases.
That's what we need. So you're going to need 3 units of the fabric at $5.95. JDMY 13 for a tailor-made dress. Skirt rather.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good.
Because it's coming in at well under £20. Nice. Look. So I'm going to show you the red because that's what we're making it out of. Nice.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very summery as well, I think.
Now, you see, I wouldn't have necessarily have known that this was going to be okay for dressmaking, but it's a slightly heavier weight cotton, isn't it? But perfect because you want something a bit more sturdy for your skirt, don't you?
You do want a sturdy skirt, especially if you're going to use it for something like work, where, you know, you're throwing it in and out of the washer quite a lot because obviously you're there 5 days a week. So, yeah, you want something that's going to wash well, last long.
Wash and wear.
Wash and wear.
Yeah. So in true bee style, you decided to show us the points that on the bee they were always very critical of.
Oh yes, didn't I know it? Yes.
I feel like we're making you relive something.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
Well, I've actually brought some of the bits in from the bin. It was a bit scary. I was like opening the box of.
So you get to keep everything you made.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise. So there's I think I've left it for the next hour, but I've actually at the time I was making all my projects, I was just taking little swatches about sort of 5 centimetre square pieces of fabric, thinking that I'm never going to see these garments again.
So like a little memory.
Yeah. So in my mind, I thought, well, I'm going to make this little sort of collage for when I get home, so it's like pride of place in the house kind of thing.
So we'll show that next.
Yeah, in the next hour
at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So when I actually had like this delivery just turn up. And I was like, what is it? Open it all up, and they're all individually tissue wrapped. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are the clothes. Yeah, I've got some there.
Oh, shit, go on, pick my favourite
one.
Yeah.
So this one's like my favourite one.
I love this.
This is one of the alteration challenges where we had an hour to make a children's fancy dress outfit. And this is my dinosaur with a tail.
It's amazing. It is amazing. This was one. And look, you see, there's your little tag.
There's my little tag with my name
Jenny,
on.
greatly British Sewing Bee.
So that was a nice little gift when we come back. So yeah, we've got to keep all of the clothes. At any point they can call back for them, but I'm not allowed to give them away or anything like that. But it is kind of nice to have them. But there is one garment that I just can't look at, and we'll save that one for later.
We'll look at that later. Now, we've got some items out on the desk here.
Yes.
This is the first time that we've bought dressmaker's tracing paper, the squared pattern paper, and this
pizza cutter.
Pastry cutter. Yeah, I was going to say word, but this is. We're going to be able to use these to make the pattern.
Yes.
Let's get going.
Yep, brilliant. Okay, so in the Great British Sewing Book, the patterns are all down on a bus. You just need to down them off, print them off. But to make things easier, then once you've done that, rather than cutting up your sellotape pieces together, you can trace them using your squared pattern paper.
Okay.
Or you can go direct to fabric with your tracing wheel and tracing paper. So this is different. This isn't what you would normally use when you're wanting to copy a picture as a kid. You know, it's not that kind of tracing paper. What it actually does is leave a mark, like a carbon. So you know when you do a receipt, a handwritten receipt, and you have that blue carbon paper, it's kind of like the dressmaker's equivalent. So there's lots of colours in there. I think there's white, yellow, red.
Yeah, look, you can get, if I just squish that to the side, can you see all the different colours that you've got there? So you've got 2 sheets of white, 1 blue, 1 red.
I think there's a green in there
and a yellow.
as well.
Yeah, you've got all sorts in there. So when you use this little object,
it marks along. So the same way it would do with tailor's chalk, you're doing it with your tailor's wheel direct to fabric. So it's super handy, super quick. And I have mine. I think I've had I bought one because I didn't know what it was when I went onto the bee, and that's 4 years ago, and I'm still using the same paper, so it lasts a lifetime.
So your wheel is just £1.95. This is not a big investment, is it?
Not at all, but it's an essential tool. So when you're talking back about the bee and the tips to save, because it's time channels, isn't it? Like, get one of them. Seriously, lifesaver.
Just do it. Okay.
Just grab one.
Grab your tracing paper, grab your wheel, and the other was your squared pattern paper. This is what I use.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in this, just because it's squared and it's easy. So, and already there's none of this having to draw out anything. You do get a huge amount as well, and it's 1 centimetre squares, and so you get 87 centimetres by 61 centimetres, but you get 3 lots of that.
Bargain. I think that would be really good for your quilters as well, because already the centimetres are already marked out. I know it's in metric, but at least it's like a grid form. You can just quickly convert.
I have a favourite bag that I like to make, and I have the pattern all done out.
All done out.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy,
because the book that I got
squeezy.
it out of, it told me how to do it.
How to draw it out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Job done.
Perfect.
So $3.45 for your hemline squared pattern tracing paper. This is the first time that we've had it. Really thrilled that we finally got this on the show for you. You've been asking for it. There it is. We're using patterns out of the book today, and here we go. This is where it all started on the Great British Sewing Bee, 1995, EUSP 91. Hints, tips.
Hints and tips.
Yay. And the fabric that we're using today is the Scandi. That's Scandian red in your hearts. Again, this is $5.95 per half a metre. You're going to need 3 half meters, so that's 3 units if you're after the grey, again, and that makes the larger size in the book. So you can get the book, you can get your material all in one go. All arrives with your tracing paper, with your tracing wheel. Boom, you're good to go. AKMY 30 for your Scandi grey hearts on white.
It's nice, isn't it?
What are we doing?
Right, okay, so putting my... If only I had the sewing quarter when I was on the bee, it would have been a whole different ball game. But so the bits that they would pick out, especially when we did do a skirt, but I think it was a box pleat skirt, so it was very similar, but again with a sort of side a zip which was on the hip, which obviously you're putting a zip in on a curved edge, which was a bit tricky. So the first thing they'd be looking at was the zip. So we're going to go zips today.
Make a beeline for that
Beeline
zip.
for those zips. So we're going to be doing a lapped zip today.
A whatty zip?
A lapped zip.
A lapped zip. What is a lapped?
A lapped zip. So if you imagine you've got your seams together, if you imagine that this is the zip. So a lapped zip would basically mean that the fabric is covering the zip.
So like an invisible zip?
Yes, but not where you're sewing right into the teeth. So you won't be able to see the zip when you're finished, so it'll give you a nice clean finish. But it's basically just got a lap on it.
So it doesn't interrupt the silhouette of the pencil skirt? Because that's the whole thing, isn't it? I mean, you know, pencil skirts there. And you don't want to suddenly have...
No. So you don't want
a technical term.
Yeah, definitely. So it's about hiding the teeth, and you would do that with material, but it will all be in the seam. So this is what we're going to be doing today. So
show me how.
So I've gone ahead and kind of made a mini version of the skirt. So this is half a skirt. So I've cut my lady in half, unfortunately. This is my back side. because there's one single dart. Okay, so imagine that this is another half of it. Okay, so it's literally just cut down the centre, and this is the front of it, because I know there's 2 darts here at the front, and again that's the centre front. So again, imagine there's another piece there. So I've literally just cut it in half. So I'm only dealing with one side today.
Just to make it easy for us to see.
Yeah, just so you can see. Okay, so I can see here that this is where my zip needs to end here, because the pattern has indicated that. So again, I've just made using my quick method by making a couple of notches into my fabric. So there's a notch here and a notch there. Okay.
So line up those notches, and you know that's where
the zip needs to go. Okay. So what I'm going to do first of all is put my right sides together and sew in my seam. So if you were doing this at home, I would always do the zip side first, because then that way you can really open out your fabric and make it easy for yourself. Whereas if you do the side without the zip in, then you're working in a cylindrical, in a circle. So you're going to be fighting with your fabric. You're likely to stitch your fabric together. You know, you don't want that. And then have to get the unpicker out. So there's your time saving out of the window. So if you're going to do a little time challenge at home, do the side that's got the zip on first, not the other side.
No, so we giggle at having a time challenge, but ultimately the thing is for me, every time I sit down to sew, it feels like a time challenge.
Of course it is, because not everyone has busy lives, and you want to have that time for yourself. So we are joking about the time challenge, but you are right. It's about trying to cram in as much as you can within that hour you've dedicated to yourself. So I'm going to go in with a 1.5 seam allowance. Okay, I'm just going to put a little back stitch there. So I'm just sewing with a normal stitch length up until. Oh, there you go. Up until my notch part here. And again, I'm going to do a little back stitch where the notch is, okay? So now, to make this step easy for me, I'm going to then increase my stitch length to the biggest the machine will give me, because this is going to be a temporary stitch, and we're going to need the iron in a second, my darling.
It's like a tacking stitch.
Yeah, so I'm just basically tacking with my machine just to give me a bit more time, so I'm not having to do it by hand. So again, I'm not going to bother going back on there, so I'm going to leave that end open. So I'm going to need an unpicker at the moment. Have we got an unpicker on there?
We've got a small pair of scissors. Would that work?
I could try that.
I don't know where our unpicker's gone.
Where's your little sewing quarter box? That's what we need.
Oh, will it be? Where's it gone? Don't know where it is.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's gone. All right, it's all right. Amy's on her way.
She's coming. She's coming.
She's on her way.
Okay, so I'm going to just use the mat here just to make it easier for you.
We can't iron onto that
because
it warps the mat.
Let's move it out the way then.
There we go.
Nearly lost our little tracing wheel.
Whilst you do that, there, I'm going to have a look at the book again.
Okay.
If you've just joined us, hello. This is what we're making. Just here. And it's all come out of the book. You get full instructions in the book. You also get all the patterns, which you can download from the book. So everything that you need, from dresses to tops to skirts to laundry bags, it's all in there, even curtains. So you can decorate your whole house, clothe your family, all in one book. It's nice, that, isn't it? I like that. That's kind of classic. They are classics, actually, aren't they? Very well written out, so that you can start. And because that's the thing, isn't it? Everyone started on the British Sewing Bee classed as an amateur.
Yes.
There were no professionals.
There were strict rules. You couldn't have studied textiles or anything like that. You couldn't have worked in a haberdashery. You weren't allowed to be doing a course at the time. Yeah, so you had to be unrelated. So it had to be a pure homegrown sewer.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't realise it was that stringent.
Yeah, definitely.
Gosh.
I think depending on the seasons, then the rules may have changed. But on my season, it was definitely no. You've got to be a home sewer and only a home sewer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, look at all these projects.
Loads
of inspiration for you. And it's just beautifully photographed as well. I mean, this is a mojo boost. Oh, that's everyone's dream, isn't it?
This is the thing, isn't it? Like, just having a look at the haberdashery on set was just gorgeous, which is what's lovely about the sewing quarters. There's just bits and bobs and fabric and threads everywhere.
And the more you look, the more you find, the more you see and you go,
ooh,
yes.
I want that.
Susan's messaged in. Good morning, Susan.
Morning.
Is the Scandi red? Is it red or is it quite pink? I would say it's raspberry. I would say it's a warm red.
Yeah.
It's a sort of raspberry.
It's not vicious
strawberry.
red. It's not
no,
vicious.
it's not an orange base. It hasn't got an orange base to it. So reds are split into two. You either have a sort of a purpley base to it, or a yellowy, orangey base to it. This is the warmer one. There you go. That's your purpley base to it. Really beautiful. Now, the last time that we brought Scandi fabric from this collection is sold out.
No, let me get my drink first.
This time we brought it to you by the half metre, so you can decide how much you want. So maybe you got the Scandi fabric last time, and you want to remake that make, then just do it in a different colour.
Do it a different colourway.
Yeah.
But it'll still match beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
To make, and because you know the colours are all going to work.
Yeah.
So to make the skirt in the largest form, which is in the book, 1.5 metres.
Metre and a half.
Nice.
Metre and a half.
We've sewn, we've done a short stitch, a couple of holding stitches, and then
we've carried on.
Stitch
So the reason why I carried on with the basting stitches is because we're not going to sew the zip in with that stitch together. But what it has given me is an exact seam allowance. So this is why I've pressed it with the seams open.
Right.
So now I'm going to go in with my unpicker and unpick that, because I do need to stitch it without it being stitched together.
Okay.
So I think I did a tutorial where I did the sort of cheap method where you can't find an invisible stitch but you still want that invisible look.
Yes.
Where we sewed the zip in together with the seam attached, whereas this time we're not doing that, we're going in with the unpicker.
Okay.
So I'm just going to make sure that I don't unpick my proper stitches. So there's my notches again, so I know where they are. So I should be able to glide through.
And you really can glide.
Glide through there with my little unpicker. So I don't know if people know this, but the little red bit here is actually a safety little notch. So when you're putting your threads through, it should prevent you from cutting your fabric. So that's actually, it's a feature, it's not a safety thing. So, well, it is a safety thing when it comes to fabric.
So it's a fabric
if you go in with the blade first to get a little opening, and then turn it around and then go in with the red notch, and then lift it like that, this kind of makes sure that you're hitting the fabric rather than cutting into the fabric with the blade. So that's just a little tip for you. Right. Tips. Okay, so now my seam is now open, so you can see that pressing is making the fabric do what I need it to do. Okay, so the lap needs to be on the side of where the front side, because that's the bit that you're gonna hit first. Okay, so you don't want it. You want it lapping like that, not like that. Okay. So I know this is the front again because there's 2 darts here, where there's only a single dart there. So I know from the pattern it's a single dart in the back, it's 2 darts in the back, obviously this is cut in half, and there's 4 darts in the front, so this is the front. Okay, so that's definitely the front. So I'm going to work with the back side first, okay? So I'm going to take my zip, I'm just going to undo it.
Any particular zip needed for this?
So as long as it's an open zip and it doesn't, it's not a one that separates, we don't want a separating zip.
Okay.
And it doesn't need to be a invisible stitch, an invisible zip. It needs to just be a normal zip, okay?
So the zip that we've got for you on the show today is this one. There we go, the most famous zip maker in the world, YKK. This is your nylon coil zip, 18 centimetres. Producer Paul said that if you look at any of your garments with a zip in, you will probably have a YKK zip in.
Yes, that's true.
Fact, he said. Fact.
With a capital F.
Yes.
With a capital F.
£1.45. FHGQ65. Do you know what? Just pop it in your basket. Have it in your stash. You never know when you might be moved to grab a zip. Brand new today, of course, is the squared pattern paper. In fact, both of our papers for you today are brand new. First time aired. First time aired. Yes.
It's so handy. Just stick it in your basket.
So this one here is £3.45. You're getting 3 sheets, though, in here of 87 centimetres by 61. Each of these is a centimetre, and of course, then you go, you're getting your 5 centimetre everything. Now, let me also show you. Am I showing the other paper as well? But I can reach it.
You might be tall, but these tables are big.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Now, this is your tracing paper that's a bit like carbon paper. It's very clever. So you've got this one here, and this 4 different colours, £3.95, and it's going to last and last and last, and that's on the show. Take a look at that. But none of this would be possible without the book. £19.95. How many projects exactly do we get in here? Over 25. Gosh, that's a lot. And if you want to make the pencil skirt, it's on page 106, and you need 3 units of fabric, so that's 1.5 meters of fabric. Oh, it's lovely. It's really nice.
Well, I just think it's become an institution, hasn't it? A British institution with the Great British Sewing Bee and the Bake Off and all of those programmes. And I think it is really nice to have something to especially for me when I had my book. It was really lovely.
So, red or grey? We've just given you the red details. Here are the grey. So 1.5 metres in total, £5.95, AKMY 30 for your grey Scandi Heart.
Scandi Heart.
What are we making? No, I'm just thinking, the top that we're making at our 11 o'clock show, that's another Scandi from the same range, isn't it?
It is another Scandi.
So it's all about the Scandi for me at the minute. I love this material. It's really gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Right, so...
Okay, so I've gone in and just stitched the one side in. So you can see that I have gone through. You can see the stitching on the right side of the fabric. Yeah. You probably see just maybe from the fold rather than the actual stitching itself. So that's secured in and it's gone very close to the teeth, and I've stopped where this just before the zip actually finishes.
Okay.
So I've stopped there, the zip finishes there, okay?
So do you not have to sort of sew across the base?
This is in the next step. Ah. Okay, so if I just close the zip for a second, okay. So now you can see this is where we're going to start doing our lapped part of it. Oh, right. So what you're going to need to do is bring your seam together. Right. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
So if I go along and pin as I go. Actually, can I move the ironing thing? So I feel like I'm going to pin myself to the ironing mat, and we don't want that.
No, don't do that.
In fact, let's bring that back. Let's bring it back. Okay, so you need to be following the curve with your seam. So this is where you're getting your lapped.
So following the curve with your seam.
Yeah, because you've already sewn it once and you've already pressed it once. So in theory, you've already manipulated the fabric, so it should sit nicely. See how that's meeting nicely?
So it's this is because you've got that prep work. This is turning out to be quite wow.
Neat.
Seamless, neat, achievable,
achievable and neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've pinned your seam in together, so let me bring it round for you so you can see. I've pinned it together. Now what you need to do is go in and go across your zip and go up towards the top. Okay. That will finish it. So it's all visible stitching. So if you wanted to be super posh, you could even go in with some prick stitching, which is a hand finish technique. So all you see is little dots of a stitch, very small little stitches. So I think I've done a tutorial for that, and I don't think the video is available yet, but watch out for that. It will be. So it's a finishing technique called a prick stitch.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure that I would trust my hand stitching to keep a zip that was keeping my modesty in place.
You'd be surprised. So obviously there would be the distance of it would be quite small, but they need to be very, very super even, and the stitches need to be super small. So they're visible stitches that you can see along that edge. But we're going to go in with a machine.
Make sure it's all in there. Who's asked about the book? Sue's asked about the book. Oh, what size range are the patterns covered in the book? Let me see. I don't know if it says design by design. Let me go straight to page 106, which is the... So, to fit UK women's size 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16. That's for the skirt. Let me look at this top here. All up to a size 16 so far. So yeah, this is taking you up to a size 16. Let me just pick a random one for you. Oh, now if you're going for the men's, because there's a waistcoat. Oh, that's a nice waistcoat.
That's nice, isn't it?
Very nice, yeah.
I think that was one of the challenges, actually, on the first series, yeah.
So small all the way up to a double XL for the waistcoat. So for the men's. And again, dress sizes for the women 8 through to 16. That seems to be the standard here.
nice.
But then because you've got your pattern paper, you can do all your adjustments on your pattern paper with your wheel, your tracing wheel.
Ah, perfect.
We just need to show you how to do it. We can do it.
Oh, they wanted to see the waistcoat upstairs. There's the waistcoat. Smart, isn't it? Very smart.
That is nice. I'm sure it was one of the challenges, actually.
Very dapper.
Super dapper.
My brother gets married this summer. And,
Oh, okay.
As a nod to a friend of ours, he's having, who can't be the best man, he's having...
a best man kind of waistcoat.
Yeah, in tweed, because Graham always used to wear tweed, so everyone's got to have a tweed waistcoat.
Oh, that's
part
lovely.
of the groom's party.
Oh, that's what makes weddings special, isn't it? When you get these little handmade elements in there.
Well, that's just it, because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to find a tweed waistcoat that my husband will like for summer, so I need a lightweight one.
Yeah.
Because it's for summer, you know, winter, no problem at all. So I might have to grab this book. It's a coffee table book, though, isn't it?
It is nice,
as well.
yeah. It is nice. And then the fact that you get the pictures of everyone that was in there and little, you know, bits and bobs in there. It's really, it's a nice to have book. Really lovely book.
Yay.
It's a shame it's not around anymore, isn't it?
I know. Well,
This is why it's even so more important.
Quarter instead, you see.
Yeah.
There we go. So if you want to grab the book, 1995 EUSP 91. Oop. I was about to take it away then.
Take it away, take it away.
For a little flick through.
Patrick's face still scares me, actually. I feel like he's watching me from over afar. So there we have our lapped zip.
Aha.
All done.
You can't see.
You can't see it. So if I just move that out of the way, that's the lap.
So it's kind of more than an invisible zip, isn't it? Because it laps over the top of that first cover there. Lovely fabric there.
There you go. So you can see that it's covering the zip. And again, just to recap, because of the two darts there, you can see there's one dart, there's the second dart, that's the front. The lap is following away. So if you've done it the other way, then in theory you'd be able to see into the zip, and we don't want that. So
this is coming from the front. It's keeping that
to the
silhouette seamless as it goes.
The silhouette seamless. So
Nice.
that's your lap zip. So that's the first little bit that you need to get over, which we've done.
Okay.
So then the next bit would be your waistband.
Okay.
Okay. So I've gone ahead and gone and cut these out.
Okay.
I've already, obviously, in theory, you'd only have one waistband, but because I've cut my poor lady in half, I've got two waistbands. So I've got one already prepped, but I'm going to show you a cheap method of a quick way of doing this waistband. Okay. So again, let's move this mat out of the way because we need to get the iron out, if that's okay. My lovely darling, thanks. Okay, so we're going to be doing some we're interfacing our waistband to obviously give it some structure around that. So if you didn't, first of all, if you didn't interface your waistband, then you're in lots of trouble. Why? Because Patrick won't like that. Oh no, he won't want that.
Oh, Patrick will be cross.
He won't want that.
Is he going to come around and tell us all?
You never know. I hope not. I hope
Luck
not.
would have it.
Okay, so when you're interfacing your waistband, you only want to be interfacing half of it.
Right.
So you could go ahead and cut this when you're doing out your pattern pieces, but then again, that takes lots of time, doesn't it? Because you want to make sure it's perfect. Whereas this is the quick way of doing it. Okay. So I've got my waistband here.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously ignore the length because I've cut it in, it's too short anyway, but it's because I've cut my lady in half.
Yes.
But the most important is the width. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put the right sides together and just go in and make a quick crease mark just so I know where the halfway point is. Okay, so that's the first bit done. Then your interfacing, the one that I've got comes in, I think it's a metre squared pack.
Right, yes.
I don't think it's on the table at the moment, but I think it
The
was on the show.
interfacing?
Yeah.
Where's it gone? That one is a metre square. You get a lot
I thought
in there.
it was. I can't remember if it was 2 or 1, but either way.
No, it's a metre square.
But either way, it comes with really nice straight edges. Okay. So we're going to use that lovely, nice straight edge. I'm going to place the wrong side facing up this time, okay? And I'm going to just trim. Scissors. You can see that I've already gone ahead and cut some pieces out already. So make sure you're putting your interfacing the right way first of all. Okay,
yes,
so you've got a shiny, gluey side and a more matty finish. So make sure you've got your nice glistening side facing down. So what you're going to do is meet your interfacing with the little crease that you've made.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go in with the iron, but make sure that you only iron or press, on the fabric. So you're not going over. You don't want to be sticking your interfacing to your ironing mat.
Okay.
Okay, so I've literally just gone You can see that I've not stuck it to the mat, it's purely just sticking to the fabric. So once you've done that, then all you need to do is cut around your material.
Okay, so it acts as a guide anyway. Whilst you cut that, I'm going to waft some material around. I do love this. Now, brand new from our Scandi collection. So you've already seen the Scandi stripe. I say you've already seen it. You've already... Well, we sold out of it when we had it on the show. But this is part of that Scandi collection. So it's that soft red, a very warm red with this one. It's not, you know, some reds can be a bit stark. This isn't. This is a beautiful, warm, sort of strawberry, raspberry, summer fruit type red. Really lovely. We've kept it in the 1/2 meters for you because the book has so many different projects. We didn't know what you wanted to go for because this material is perfect for the skirt, but also, you know, if you want to do your home decor in it as well, you've got that option as well because it's 100% cotton. What I love about it is the detailing on here, the pattern. It's
gorgeous,
it's a texture that's actually printed on. So if you see it up at the selvage, there's my selvage gone. Here we go. I don't know if you can see just the difference in colour, because it's not printed on there. There's actually a texture, a linen texture, printed very, very discreetly onto there. And then you've got, obviously, the delicate red on there. It's by a 1/2 metre, £5.95, JDMY 13. If you're doing home decor, of course, maybe you want to alternate and have some in the grey as well, and you want to mix and match like that, then let me show you the grey. The grey is so soft, it's so pretty. Look at that, really lovely. I want a blouse in this as well. You've made a skirt out of it, but I think it would be lovely in a top as well. Look at that, how pretty. So because it's cotton, it's going to breathe, it's going to be lovely to wear through the summer.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Be lovely.
Was it easy to work with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It behaves. I like a material that behaves. We talk about this a lot, but it's true. It makes the job so much easier if it just behaves itself.
You see, sometimes, you know, we do fall in love with those tricky fabrics, but so it's lovely to have. There we go, look at that. And it's behaving over there all by itself.
Thank you for behaving, skirt. Well done.
Oh, the aircon's on. That's why it's moving. We haven't got ghosts in the studio. Well, we hope.
We hope.
I make that assumption. Shall I give it a little twirl?
Let
me spin her around. I need to be careful where I put my hands. There we go. There we go.
Oh, look at the bottom on that.
I know. Nice little. So here we go. You can see here, that is your zip in there. Now, as Jenniffer was saying, if you see it from the back, then you would actually see the zip. But because this is your front here, that lapped zip just sits along there and you can't see it. It's very discreet and it's just following that silhouette. All the instructions in the book, the pattern, everything that you need in the book. Pencil skirts. If I have to wear a skirt, it's a pencil skirt.
I bet it'd be super flattering on you as well with those legs, lady.
Oh, I just love them. Love them.
Even Richard, the cameraman, agreed with that. It's true.
It's not often I wear a skirt, it has to be said.
I've never actually seen you in a skirt.
No, those legs don't come out that often.
I think you should make a skirt. Let's make a skirt. Okay, so before I go on ahead and sew my waistband, there was one last thing that you needed to do before you moved away from the iron. Okay, so just to recap, I remember I pressed my right sides together, giving me a central line.
Which
a central
side's
press
got
line.
your interfacing on?
So I'm going to flip that over now. So once we'd got the central point, then we opened it up with the wrong side facing me, and then I interfaced.
Yes.
So then when I then folded my fabric back with the right sides together, I then folded over approximately a centimetre seam allowance ahead of time.
Of course, we're back to dressmaking, which is centimetres, not half inches, quarter inches, none of that. Back to the centimetres.
So my seam allowance, my seam allowance is 1.5, but I want that to be a little bit bigger, so I did 1 centimetre. Okay. So once you've done that, then you're ready to attach your waistband as normal, so I can move that to one side, okay? So I've gone ahead and done that. So you can see I've got the interface side is pinned, again with the right sides together.
Yeah.
Okay, on both sides. The only difference here, I've allowed a section here for a 1.5 seam allowance, but I've given myself a little bit extra on the other side, and that will make... Because we're going to do a couture finish. We're going to do a threaded loop.
What do you mean by couture finish?
Couture. So couture, if you think about high-end garments...
Does it basically just mean it's a posh finish?
It's dead posh. Dead posh for us.
That's us.
Dead
here at the
posh.
sewing quarter.
All right.
Couture.
Couture. We go with couture finishing. Well, no, but it is exactly that. It's that hand-finished, immaculate detail, which obviously Patrick and May are looking for.
Or is this one that you...
No, there is a little section on said couture finish. So yes, you are right. So you could just attach a normal hook and eye using both parts.
Right.
But we're going to use the hook only, and I'm going to recreate the eye with using that couture finish. So I think it's at the beginning.
All right. Couture. I'm just trying to remember who actually won this one.
It was the Anne.
It was the Anne.
It was the Anne. I was going to say the lovely older lady, but her name is Anne.
Anne with the grey hair, yes. The joy of sewing, starting to sew, needles, everything that you need.
Everything you need is there.
Tools of the trade, understanding paper patterns. Oh, okay, so it's not assuming any knowledge. Mr. Beaton and the dressmaking pattern. Oh, it goes into everything. This is great, isn't it? Finding the fabrics. Well, you see, this is good, isn't it? Because sometimes demystifying fabrics is half the problem.
Half the job, isn't
Making
it?
the right choice. Natural fibres, cottons, synthetics,
It goes through
trimmings
everything.
and fastenings. It goes into a lot of detail,
It does, it really
doesn't it?
does. So it's a great one if you're a
Zips,
beginner.
Buttons. There it is. Oh, it also gives you history. This is a great you're going to be, going through all your pub quizzes going, well, Savile Row's diddle-a-diddle-a-duh, and you'll know all of it.
You'll know.
Whether you're tacking, uneven tacking, even tacking, hand stitches, back stitches, even slip stitch, uneven slip stitch. It's all in here.
It's
double
covering
fold
it
hem,
all.
straight seams. Gosh, it's all in here.
It's all in there.
Curved seams, sewing round corners, finished seams and pinking, enclosed seams. You could be a pro by the end of this.
You could be a pro. Yeah. Definitely.
Start as an amateur, leave as a pro.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
there's
your lap zip.
All in the book.
All in step
Do you
detail
want to
there.
see? Oh, here we go.
They're coming to you, lady.
Well, this is great. So it's going to give me all of these details.
Yes.
Do I need to spin that around? Look at that.
So we
So
don't
this
all
is
get
what
a
we're doing
headache.
today.
So that's the lap zip that we've just done. That's the invisible zip.
Okay, so it'll show you the difference.
So that's the
Bindings.
So this is your
adding
buttons.
buttons.
Oh, maybe I'm making it up. I'm sure it was in there.
Oh, I like that as well. That's ever so pretty.
It is nice. There's some really lovely projects in there. Really super lovely projects.
Oh, actually, that silky top.
Top with the...
Wouldn't that look lovely?
Yes.
With This is why we haven't bundled the fabric today, so that you can choose, because we think that this fabric is perfect for so many of the projects. Dressmaking, home decor, it's all through.
There's lots in there.
Now, thank you for everyone who's been in touch. Lovely to hear from you. We've had an email from Joe, who's been making a quilt.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I love it when they stitch along with our watching us.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good.
You're never alone, then, are you?
Never alone. Okay, so there's my... I've stitched both my waistbands on. So now you want to press your waistband up and put your raw edges into that waistband.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first step. You've already pressed your fabric to the right sides together, so that's done there for you. So you know that gives you a nice even waistband. So that's what they're looking for, even across,
all the way around.
all the way around. So you've already got.
It's these little things, isn't it, that make it look professional.
You've already done that ahead of time, and then if you remember rightly, we pressed under our seam allowance ahead of time, didn't we?
Yes.
So we've done that. So you've got almost like a very fancy U, for lack of a better word. So you've got your little seam allowance there, you're coming round from the interface to the non-interface side of your waistband and then coming back over again with your remaining seam allowances. It has wings. Okay, so I'm just going to pin that in place. And then again, to sort of go ahead of time, I'm going to stitch down that section first. This is where you want to really follow the zip line. So where the fabric has folded over, you want to literally come in exactly at that point. So you want that nice clean finish.
Okay.
So I'm going to come in here and go straight down. So that's the first thing. And then once we've done that, we're going to do some stitching in the ditching.
Stitching in the ditch. You see, all these terms, they sound so wonderful, don't they? And you know, sometimes they can be a little bit daunting. What does that actually mean? What does that find out?
What does that mean?
Stay with us, we will find out.
Okay, so I've just trimmed the edge of that. So this is where you can then poke your waistband to the right way.
Ah, okay.
Do we have a little... Yeah, I knew we had. Don't forget your pokey tool. So again, you want nice sharp corners, otherwise Patrick's going to tell you off. So there's a nice sharp corner there for you. Okay, so this is probably where you want to go back to your sewing machine, ironing board. Sorry. So again, but we don't have to. It's fine. We can rush ahead. It's not a problem. So again, you notice that when I did my pressing of my seam allowance, I gave it 1 centimetre, not 1.5 centimetres.
Yes.
This is because when you lay your waistband back down as per the pressing we did earlier, you know that it's the halfway point. When we turn it over, I know that if I stitch where this fabric, the waistband, meets our skirt fabric, I'm going to stitch in that gorge, if you like.
In the ditch?
In the ditch.
This is stitching in the ditch.
And you can see from here, this side here, you can see there's a slight overlap.
Right. Yes, so you're going to catch that back.
So if we were going to give it, if we were going to fold over 1.5 and 1.5, then you are likely to not catch.
Right,
that
you've got to be ridiculously precise.
Yeah, so again, this is super quick tips. So if you want to get it done in time, then that for me, that would be a little quick tip for you. So I'm going to go in now and do my stitching in the ditching.
Hey, excellent. So if you're after the grey material, which is what we can see the skirt already made up in, then you'll need 3, and it's 3 units that makes up the largest size. It's going up to size 16 in the book. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? This Scandi is very, very on trend. It's very intricate in the patterning. It's lightweight. It's going to be breathable for your summer. It's not too heavy a design or heavy a pattern. The grey, I think, is cool and chic, but then you've got the red option as well, which has that added warmth to it. This is the grey finished skirt there, $5.95, and there we go, AKMY 30. Now, any tools that you've needed for today, we have aired for the first time our tracing paper and our pattern paper, all those things there on the web. So you can find them there. They will just be there for you as and when you want to grab them. So there we go, that's the dress that we've made. Skirt, right, I keep calling it a dress. I do know the difference between a skirt and a dress.
It's early morning,
and there we
darling.
go. That is the web. And so underneath where we are on live, if you scroll down, you can message us. Hello. Hello. And then underneath there are all of the products that we've had from today. The ones that have sold out have gone, so you know you can't. We're not going to tease you with those. If they've gone, they've gone.
No
so
teasing.
Today it's all about the book and the zips and the fabric. It's all there. So there you go. That's where you find it. And what are we doing over here?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to go ahead and repeat the other side, but let me just stitch this bit and I'll catch you up. Sorry.
Okay.
So this is the bit that has the extended part. So I'm just going to go in again with the seam allowance, so you can see I've got a little bit extra there.
Is this giving you something for your hook and loop fastener?
Yes.
It's not a hook and loop fastener, isn't it?
It's hook and loop.
Yeah.
Hook and eye.
Hook and eye. Hook and loop is
the other one.
The other one that begins with a B that you can't say unless it actually is.
Yes, that's right. So, yes, it's called hook and loop tape,
yes.
isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so there you go. I've stitched in the ditch on this side, so you can see that you can hardly, if at all, see that stitching in.
That's good, isn't it?
It's
really discreet.
You go, especially if you're going to use, obviously, a matching thread, then it should blend in beautifully. Okay, and if I flip that over, you can see that it's caught all of the underside of my waistband in the one stitch. So if you wanted to go for a couture finish, but that's going to take some time, you could have hand stitched that with either a slip stitch or a ladder stitch.
Wow.
But if you do all the pressing right, then you should be able to save time by doing that quickly with that.
And Patrick won't mind.
I don't think he'll mind, because you just go like, "What? I only had an hour, Patrick. Come on, what do you want from me?" So
Perfection.
yeah,
Clearly,
so
perfection.
there was certain points that were allowed you to do little cheap bits, but if they asked for a hand finished X, then you had to deliver a hand finished X. So on the waistband, they let you off sometimes. They let you off. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that on the other side now. I'm not going to do all of it. It's just so I can give you a little section so we can finish off our next couture finish, which would be our threaded loop. I nearly forgot the word of it then. Threaded loop. All right.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go in very super quick. So again,
We've got
just
7 minutes to do that. Can we do that?
Yeah,
there we go. So if you want to be making this gorgeous skirt or any of the other 20 plus projects within this book, this is where you'll find them. It's $19.95. This is, I mean, it's heavy actually. This is the first one, so 25 different projects, but this will get, plus of course you've got all of your basics in there as well. You've got unisex pyjama trousers, you've got waistcoats, you've got curtains, you've got bags, you've got cushion covers, but when I say cushion covers, there are like normal cushion covers, but you've also got, you know, ones with sort of box cushions. Do you know the ones that I mean?
Yes.
So that you can... because I always found those really difficult to do. I couldn't quite work out how to do them.
The box cushions.
Yeah, this one. That's what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
With the
you
zip
get
in them.
full-size patterns as well. You can print off, so you can just print off them as many times as you like. I love this one.
It's cute, isn't it? That one is a cute one.
Hang on, let me just flick back to see what it looks like on. Where's the picture of it on? There's your pattern. Obviously, you get a full-size pattern. That's just a good look at that. That's lovely.
That's
that
nice.
is.
Very
nautical
well. Feel to that, isn't there?
Oh, I just think it's lovely. And then you see, there are your bags as well. Everything's in there. Good to go. Oh, hello.
Everything's in there.
Got?
I'm just getting my hook and eyes ready for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So your hook and eyes. You know, I inherited all of my grandmother's sewing stuff. Got so many hooks and eyes. So many. So how are we going to be using these?
Okay, so this is the hook, because obviously it's got a little hook on it.
Yes.
Okay. So if I put it on my hand, that might be easier for you. There you go. That's your hook, and that is the eye. Okay. So that's just got like a little loop on it, basically, so it would attach like so. So you're probably familiar with this on your clothing anyway.
Yeah, this is, you know, especially if it's on the back of your top, then you always have to get someone to help you.
Can you sort
It's
of...
one-
Yeah,
just
definitely.
hook me up,
it
please?
also helps stop your zips from coming, you know, like sometimes if you've got a bit of a weak zip. So if you have got an item of clothing at home and the zip's gone weak, then it might be worth just popping a little hook and eye on
I have
there.
one on a lovely pair of pinstripe trousers that I absolutely love. And you know...
Need it to stay.
So... for these, if you wanted to grab them, they were £1.45 for 14. They'll be on the website, so do find them. For the book, £19.95, EUSP 91.
Okay.
Right.
So the first thing that I've done is that I want the edge of this waistband to match up with the what was the seam of the other side. So I've just basically popped a pin in so I know where that is. So you can see that pin there. Okay. So you go ahead and attach your hook into the top section of that. So you want the bar to almost be on the very edge of the fabric. Okay, so I know that's super tinky tiny to see, but you want it on the very edge, so when you hook it, you can't see it.
Right.
So the reason why I did this little taped section here is because I'm going to hand sew in what would be the eye.
Right.
So if you wasn't going to do that, then what you really would have done is put your seam like this, so it'd be the same as that one.
Yeah.
And then your eye would go in the back of there like that.
So you don't see it.
So the two edges would butt together. Whereas I'm doing a couture finish, which means I need a little bit of a lap. Okay. So now this is where we get a needle and thread. I have put the biggest knot in the world at the end of that.
Yes.
And there's a reason for it. Okay. So because you're speeding, you obviously want a time challenge here.
Yes.
I'm just going to go in anywhere on that waistband, and I'm going to head up just before where my... I'm not on the other side. Just before the end of my tab finishes, and I know that because of the pin that I've popped there earlier. So I've got a big knot out of the way, okay? So don't worry about that at the moment. So I'm just going to go in once, and I'm going to do a little knot here instead. So that's 1, 2.
So that's like a French knot.
So that's like a French knot, okay. So this is where we start doing our threaded loop. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is come away a little bit. So it's, would you say about 1/4 of an inch there, Natasha, from where you're positioned? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to, a double thread, by the way. Yeah. So I'm going to create a loop.
Yeah, it's like a 1/2 centimetre, isn't it? Or a...
If I don't get attached to the end of my pincushion. So you want these threads to be equal. So I'm just going to pop my needle in there while I get to that position. So that's 1. So now I'm going to go in again. So that's 2.
Yeah.
So you want a loop big enough, because bearing in mind you're going to get the hook underneath that. So once you've got a couple of threads, because I've double threaded it, I've got 4 threads there. So this is where you start doing your finishes. So basically we're going to what would be called a blanket stitch to secure these threads together. So that's 1 blanket stitch. So a blanket stitch is where you go, in this case, you're going under the loops. Under the loops, you're wrapping around your needle.
Yeah.
And then you're pulling that, and then make sure that it goes right next to the blanket stitch that you've just done. And you basically just keep going. So you're encasing all of those raw, those 4 threads, together.
Okay.
So you can see how it's starting to piece together now. If I just bring that up a little bit, there you go.
Ah, yeah.
Can you see how it's creating that loop? But the blanket stitch or buttonhole stitch is basically keeping all those threads together. Otherwise, it would be weak. It wouldn't be any good to anybody.
No, it's wrapping them, isn't it?
So because you've got 4 little bits of thread there, as well as a blanket stitch, that'll be a really nice secure loop.
Secure couture? Is that what you're telling me?
Secure.
That's amazing.
Couture.
Thank you so much. So if you want to make the most of putting all of these things into practice, grab the book, grab the fabric and get going. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much. Now, stay with us because over here...
So excited about this.
Very excited about this. This is our very first time that we've brought this to air. This is all for the boys. Well... I say that, you know, you can have female astronauts, but we are blasting off in just a few minutes with this fabulous quilt. Angie Attwood will be back with us in just a few moments, and we are going to be tackling this quilt, and I think this is just absolutely fab. So don't delay. Join us. And then after that, we've got another hour of dressmaking. So lots still to stay tuned for here at the 7/4 this morning. So we will see you in just a few moments. Blast off in about 3 minutes. See you then.
Follow us on Pinterest. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to discover sewing work we create and love. Sewing Quarter is at the very heart of sewing as we bring you all things sewing and quilting. The team behind us live and breathe sewing day to day. We strive to bring you exclusive offers, exciting live demonstrations, and most importantly, we will custom cut fabric to your specification in our very own cutting room. We will also be bringing you TV exclusives that you won't be able to find anywhere else. So come and join us today at the Sewing Quarter.
Welcome to the Sewing Quarter!
Sewing revolution, inspiring, community, exciting, sweet shop. I'm really excited about being part of a community that loves sewing and being part of a team with so many inspiring designers. That's what I'm really excited about. What kind of prep have I been doing? Rehearsing like crazy. We've been doing lots and lots of rehearsals in the studio and really focusing on camera angles and shots to make sure you see everything so you don't miss a thing. So yeah, rehearsals have been a big part of that.
I've recently been made an auntie for the 3rd time, and this time it's a girl, so I'm really, really excited about making something for her. So I've done something for my 2 nephews, but the fact I've got a little girl, so I think I'd try and make some kind of little top, I think, because if I've only got a fat quarter, I've not got that much fabric. I was really surprised to find out that the presenters, Natasha and John, both have passion for sewing. Like, they actually genuinely like to have either done it before or are doing it now. So it's really nice to be among like-minded people.
Sewing Quarter is at the very heart of sewing as we bring you all things sewing and quilting. The team behind us live and breathe sewing day to day. We strive to bring you exclusive offers, exciting live demonstrations, and most importantly, we will custom cut fabric to your specification in our very own cutting room. We will also be bringing you TV exclusives that you won't be able to find anywhere else. So come and join us today at the Sewing Quarter.
Welcome to the Sewing Quarter!
The Sewing Quarter. Yes, this hour we're blasting off with this incredible quilt. It's all about the rocket. It's all about this massive quilt. We're looking at 170 centimetres by 2 metres. This is a whopper, and it's just going to be absolutely perfect for those children's bedrooms. Absolutely brilliant. So whether they're learning to count, whether they're obsessed with space, with rockets, with men on the moon, we've got everything in here. Astronauts, we've got your numbers, you've got the planets, everything is in there. So it is a fabulous, fabulous heirloom quilt. Now we've got a kit for you for $89.95. All of the patchwork comes for you, and that means that this whole front panel you can absolutely do. Then individually we've got the batting and the backing for you, so you can choose which colours you want for the backing. That's why we didn't put it all in together to start off with. It's so that you can choose the colour that's going to go, because if you think about how much you're going to use to do the back, it needs to be in a colour that you really, really want. But this front fabric, absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be an absolute winner. So ZRGC 97 for your Galaxy quilt. 14 pages of instructions with this quilt. Now, not only are you getting the instructions, you're getting the thread, you're getting the bond web, you're also getting all of this fabric. So you've got those bright, vibrant solids, but you're also getting those gorgeous patterns as well in there. So all the space theme, it's all in there. You get circuit boards, numbers, planets, it's all there. It's all fabulous. And these are the space-themed ones. So you've got the numbers for your countdown. You've got those in 2 different colourways. You've got down the back, you've got you've got your planets, you've got your rockets, you've got circuit boards. Oh, it's what's on the right there. But then don't forget your little astronauts floating around in space. And then, wow, look at that. Brilliant, brilliant, vibrant solids in there for $89.95. That's 12 different fabrics. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
When you break it down, Angie.
They're gorgeous as well.
They are, aren't they?
They're gorgeous.
Now, the first part of this that you made, can I just hold it up?
I was going to say, yes, where do you start?
Was this.
Where I started.
Which gave you an idea, because you hadn't realised just how big this quilt was going to be, did you?
No, and yes, I hadn't read the overall size, so I thought, let's just have a look at how to make the base of the rocket. And then I was thinking, wow, that's going to be quite an impactful quilt. Yeah,
It
it's amazing.
is.
Yeah.
Now, 14 pages of instructions. Shall I open them? Shall we have a little look through these? They're fresh off the press.
It does give you a bit of scale though, doesn't it? Because even seeing the quilt there, you still don't realise how big it is until you just put the rocket against yourself.
It is super impressive.
Yeah, it is.
It's 2 metres high and 1.7 metres across. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's a fabulous size. So this is what you're going to be making. Now, it's up to you what numbers you put where, if you want to have the countdown from 10 or if you want to have it so that kids can learn to count with it. It's entirely up to you. You've got your planets down the bottom. So, as ever, our instructions are printed on fabulous quality paper, very easy to follow step by step, and it really is not going to leave anything to chance.
Great for the numbers.
So here are your numbers. We're going to have a look at the number 4, aren't we, later?
We are, because I thought it was a little bit more of one of the trickier ones, so I'll be doing the number 4 with us.
But it's giving you all of these, you've got all the numbers, all the numbers, in all the different fabrics that we've seen. But look at this. This isn't a starter project, is it?
The sewing isn't that tricky. It's kind of intermediate, I'd say.
Okay.
But there's a lot of planning and yes, cutting out.
There is planning, there is cutting out.
But the instructions are marvellous.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Now that makes it achievable.
Yeah.
When I see it like that,
Yeah,
I'm like, actually, you know, that's okay. Now I can see how that's all going to come together.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And if you're a visual learner like I am, that
nice
sort of
to
thing is brilliant to have.
The description and some good illustrations.
But it also gives you
templates
as well. Is that's to size, isn't it?
We've got they're to scale. We've got a bit of foundation piecing with the points.
I think that's why I say that it's not a beginner's, because it's got that foundation piecing in there.
Yes, that's right.
Look at that, brilliant. So all of your instructions in there, ready to go, making it super approachable. We get asked a lot for the next step up. So you bring us lots of beginners. Yes, we do. We have lots of beginners that watch, and we want things to be accessible for everyone. But do you know what? It's also nice to have the next up project. If you want to, you know, take yourself to the next level.
Absolutely.
Put yourself out there. Then there you go. Look how bright those stars are on that fabric. That really is fabulous, isn't it? And I love the little astronauts floating around in zero gravity. What a brilliant fabric. And then underneath that, you've got the circuit board, which is just brilliant.
Yes.
When you think now, because obviously today, I had to be told, is the anniversary of the launching of Apollo 13.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that either.
No, it's written on the board over there. That's how I came to know. But when you think, they launched these things into space with less than a power of a mobile phone. It's amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Whew, blows my mind. Right, so circuit boards, where do we start? Because there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on. The instructions are fabulous and they will talk you through all the elements. What I'm going to try and do today is just show you some of the points, the pointed pieces, the sort of triangle pieces, so the cone of the rocket, the fins and some of the flames, because they're done with some paper piecing, and some use the templates in the instructions, so just to give you an idea how they work. And then, as I said, I'm going to do number 4 with us. Number 4. Because it looks a little bit more, you've got that vertical in there.
So you need, look at how precise those points are.
That's it.
It is brilliant. The fabric is just fabulous. That star fabric. It's exquisite.
I think one thing just to point out is you have a choice in the kit what fabric to do your rocket in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you have the same amount of fabric, I believe, in the numbers on white and the circuit board on this pale green.
Yes.
So you can choose, because whichever you don't use for the rocket is your binding.
You use for the binding,
Yeah.
right, I see.
So,
that's everything you're getting in the kit. You're getting a lot. So we've done this in the sort of the greeny colour, but you could have equally have done... This is the other fabric choice that you've got for the actual rocket itself.
The rocket itself. That's it.
With all your countdown numbers on.
And they're
I was saying to you, wasn't I, my son is obsessed with rockets.
Is he?
He's always building rockets. He's always doing that. To the extent that he doesn't count from 1 to 10. He counts from 10 down to 1.
That's the way for him.
Yeah, that's it. So we've obviously just...
Does he want to be an astronaut?
Oh, and a fireman and a zookeeper.
Depends what day it is.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, as you can see here, some of the easy piecing I started with to have a look at the rocket.
So this is where I would start. You see, I'd be like, right, I'll do the bits I can do. It's squares and rectangles. I can do that, yes.
But also for the background, in the instructions, there's a fabulous layout to tell you how to get the best, because you've got lots of different rectangles and sizes to cut. So it does show you how to start with that and cut all those pieces out. So we've pieced the rocket together here, just simple 1/4 inch piecing to the specification that we were given.
Okay.
And now I'll have a look at the nose of the cone of the rocket, and the fins are done in the same... It's the same pattern, really, from the same template. So I've made 2 here, so we can try and show how this will... It's even longer than our table.
It is, isn't it? Look at that. Gosh, the rocket's going off the end.
Right down there. We won't get the flames on the end, will we? We'll have to go sideways.
I thought it was... You see, this is where quilting amazes me. I thought that was just one big triangle, but it's not. It's 2 triangles, so that you've just got one straight bit.
Seam in the middle. Yeah, that's it. So, and the fins are done in the same way, but they will go further down the rocket, but they will go off the side that way.
Oh, right, yes, down the base.
Yeah, so I thought I've got one here to show you because it uses a template.
Okay.
So initially it tells you to cut 2 rectangles.
Right.
Of your background star fabric and your fabulous astronauts.
I love the astronauts. Do you know you're getting 8.5 metres in total in this kit?
I like this one.
That particular one.
He's like dancing.
He is. Little dancing astronaut.
With his little bent leg.
Oh.
It's cool. So you cut the rectangles to the specification, and then it tells you to cut them diagonally. And it does tell you to cut one way and one the other way.
Okay.
So then you get to make the V. Otherwise, you'll end up with them sort of the same direction, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes, I do know what you mean.
Okay. So this is how we want this to piece together. So this isn't foundation pieced, you just cut the pieces, and I'm going to stitch this together, but then it has to be cut down to a certain size.
Okay.
Which it's one of the templates in the pack. So I'm just going to position this.
So this is the thing, isn't it, with triangles, is that you have to... Do you match that absolutely exactly?
Because this is actually being cut down, so it's actually going to end up smaller than what we've got here. So I am just matching point to point. Otherwise, yes, you'd have to make allowance for that 1/4 inch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what I get used to see, and I get to see. I'm learning, Angie, I'm learning.
Yeah, because normally you'd position it sort of, a 1/4 inch down, so that when it's folded back. So I'll just...
Were the instructions easy or not?
They are actually very good. It's a big quilt, a big project with lots of patterns going on.
Yes.
So there's just a lot of them. So you need to just take your time.
So don't be daunted.
No.
When I was teaching, we used to say to kids with exams, read the whole exam paper first. Start to finish, your brain will already start working on those questions.
Absolutely.
Is it the same when you get a pattern for a quilt?
Yeah, I'd say definitely read all the instructions. I know it can seem, you can't wait to get started, can you?
Yeah.
And you just feel like diving in, but there might be something later on that really matters.
We see, that's just it, because I go straight for the rocket, because that looks to be the easiest bit.
Yes. But you can take your time. Once you've got some pieces cut, you can start piecing. It's not, you know, you don't have to do all the cutting. So I'm using the scissors now. That's fine.
Now, just, do you know what? Could you imagine if you could do this as a project in the evenings when little ones are in bed asleep and have it as a secret project?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And then just one day they wake up and it's on their bed. Or they come home from school and it's in their bedroom. You could almost have it as a wall hanging, actually. It's fabulous, isn't it? It doesn't have to be just on the bed. Or it could, you know, just a place for them to play. Maybe you've got wooden floors and, you know, you want to throw it down and have them able to play on it. It's just one of those things that is going to be kept and loved and adored by the kids.
It's great on a bed or on the wall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you say.
Oh, it really is. Do you know what? Even teenagers' rooms.
Yes.
You could get away with that in it. And I have to say, what I've got in my ear, obviously I have my producer and my director in my ear the whole time. And my producer's saying, I'd have taken it to uni. If I had that, I'd have taken it to uni. And director Tim's going, yeah, well, I'd still have it now. And I'm not a teenager. And producer Paul reckons that he would be the coolest kid on campus.
It's nice to have a boys' quilt, isn't it?
It's nice to have a boys' perspective, actually, as well, because
for the men.
It's one of those things that actually you don't necessarily outgrow this. It's one of those things that just stays with you. And then, you know, when they grow up and they have, you know, their big leather armchairs or whatever, then they can just throw that over there. But it's great colours as well for those astronaut-loving chaps in our lives. You've got such rich colours in there, and in the fabric. It's 8.5 metres of fabric here. So it's telling a story because you've got your astronauts, you've got your planets, you've got your countdown, you've got your circuit boards, but what I'm really stunned by is how bright the stars are on the fabric. It almost doesn't look like fabric.
It's it's a very opaque white, isn't it?
I don't know how they've done it, but I'm impressed
really
and I like it.
Yeah. Am I allowed to press that?
Yeah, well, yes, of course you are.
Do we have a mat? There's the mat.
There it is.
Just a little press.
I know that this quilt has caused more excitement. Where's my iron gone? There we go. Has caused more excitement amongst the boys.
Oh, yeah,
I'll do it if you want.
If you press it flat for me and then press
Can I just do it over here?
Yeah,
sure. We shouldn't do it on the
Oh, yes.
So here we go. Let's have a look at those stars, just so that you can see exactly how vibrant they are. They twinkle away, don't they? They just... brilliant.
Yeah, really.
Hey, did you watch any of that Sky at Night Live from Australia?
No.
That was on a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
But that's what this reminds me of. I love them.
Now, what there is in the instructions is there's a template for this that you could either, if you've got freezer paper at home, you can either trace it onto freezer paper and then iron it to this piece of piecing to cut it down to scale.
Okay.
Actually, I've got a copy of it here just to demonstrate that, if I may.
Yeah, no, do.
So it'll be a piece like this. The air conditioner's blowing it away. So you can either trace this template on freezer paper and then put it on top of the fabric, lining up the angle of the seam.
Yes.
And then cut it down to the dotted line. What I decided to do is this is 10.5. It's telling you it should be 10.5 by 5. So I'm just finding myself a centre line there, and I'm going to cut this down to 5 because it's 10.5. Halfway would be 5 1/4.
Right.
So I'm going to line my 5 1/4 line up on there, keeping my side straight, and then I can trim this. I'm going to double check that because you know what it's like.
Well, yeah, so how are you going to get that tip? That's what I'm now worried about.
The tip. Oh, no, that's fine. I need my longer rule, though, now for this. So then I'm just going to double check now. 10.5. Okay. So we've got 10.5.
Mm-hmm. All lined up.
Line it up there.
This is where you really need the right rulers for the job, don't you?
Yes.
So do take a look. If it's not actually on the show, it'll be on the website. So do take a look. If you know, there's only so many things we can cram into a show. So if you are after anything else, then do check out the website because it'll be on there. Now,
and again,
something to mention. Obviously, if you're making this for your son, your grandson, actually we're naughty. Girls can be astronauts too.
Yes.
For whatever space-loving child that you have, then we didn't put the backing fabric in because we wanted you to have the choice to choose. So the 3 options that we've got for you are navy. It looks black, but it's not. It is actually navy. That matches the backing of the stars. So that's going to match those starry nights. So you would need 9 units of this for your backing fabrics. XGMY65. So we've chosen 3 different backing fabrics that we think that would work. But you can go on to our Spectrum Solids on the website and choose whichever ones you want. You're just going to need 9 different 9 units. We've got this brilliant green. Now this is your grass green. And again, you'd need 9 units of this for the backing fabric. 325. GRMY67. We didn't want to presume, because the backing fabric is just one colour, we didn't want to presume to know your colour schemes at home.
Okay.
So that's why we've left it for you. Now, if there's no, this is the port, which is the other option that we've got. Now, of course, you could pick whatever colour from our Spectrum Solids. But these are the 3 that work with the colours that are coming in your pack. So FJMY07.
Superb.
And 9 units when you go for your backing.
Oh, okay, that's handy to know. Yeah, of course. So what I did, I measured halfway on the widest point.
Yes.
And measured that 10.5 and did the same on the width.
Yes.
So 5 inches, so I just cut down from 2.5, and you can see that fits the template. So however you're comfortable, but if you don't have freezer paper, that's just to show another way that you can do that. So then we've got our other fin ready to go.
Oh, that was a fin, right?
So that's a fin, yeah, there's the 2 fins now for the bottom, and that's the cone for the top.
Are they essentially made out of the same way?
Exactly the same way.
So actually that's less scary. Once you've done one, you know how to do all 4.
Yes.
Excellent.
Obviously you join that.
Yeah.
If we get that far today, but that's an easy bit. I'm showing you the difficult bits.
I like this though. I mean, and that's the thing, isn't it? This is your next step up. This is your intermediate type quilting, because it's got these little different things. So the K facet quilt that we bought you the other day was just straight lines, wasn't it? That was easy. That was beginners. Yes. This next step up for you.
That's actually including the foundation piecing. So that's a little bit.
Are we doing that
new.
Bit next?
Yes. So this is the other templates that you'll find in the kit. Templates 2 and 3, and I've traced them here onto, because it's foundation piecing, onto a foundation fabric, so I've just used some stitch and tear here.
Okay.
The only thing I found, having done foundation piecing before, normally you don't accurately cut your pieces of fabric out, because you're kind of building it up on that foundation, and then you cut down as you piece. So this was a little bit, okay, am I doing it right? Because it tells you to cut this rectangle, exactly, it's exactly the size it should be, to be that end rectangle.
I can see why you'd have a moment going, oh, hang on.
Yeah, but even more so, then it tells you to cut another rectangle in the backing fabric, and then to chop it in half to make these triangles. So you're thinking, well, I understand that these are going to go, if you like this to make the point.
Yes.
But then I'm thinking, you don't generally tend to cut the shapes with foundation piecing beforehand.
You do now.
But they're kind of not totally accurate. They're kind of thereabouts. So so just to point that out. So the instructions will tell you that.
That's okay to do.
That's okay. So I'm just going to line. I'm lining this yellow fabric up on the back of this template here, and I'm just going to pop a pin in that just to keep that secure. And then the first piece, this is the side that will be visible, and this is going to end up like this.
Right.
So to get your head round it, it needs to be stitched like that.
There, so
the seam there,
opens.
so that then that will fold back. And then what you need to do is to hold it up to the light, and you can just see, you can sort of earmark 1/4 of an inch roughly
I'm with you.
Yeah, and then we can just pin that just to hold it.
If you've got a light box, if you're someone that does foundation piecing regularly, then you may well have a light box, but otherwise the window works.
Just a little bit of light in the room, actually, you can see through these. And unlike before, when I was saying with the Quilt-As-You-Go, it was a bit confusing because you don't stitch on the line. So now this is proper foundation piecing.
And this is where you stitch on the line.
We are going to stitch on the line.
Perfect.
And I know I'm doing number 3 before number 2, but
I'm going to let you stitch that because you're stitching on the line, so that's all Angela's going to do is stitch on the line while I show you all of the gorgeous fabric that you're getting. Now you're getting 8.5 metres. This quilt has come from Macawa, so we know that it's all 100% cotton, so you're going to be able to wash it. This is vital if this quilt is going into any sort of small person's bedroom, then being able to wash it is vital. We're giving you 14 pages of instructions, we're giving you bonder web, we're giving you also the thread, all good to go. Let me show you some of this fabric. Let's have a look at the planets. Oh, look at this. Now you get 1/2 metre of the planets, but look at that for a fabric, because you've got the curved planet piece at the bottom. Look at that. And it's the detailing within the planets. You've got sort of quilted pieces, designs within the planet pieces. It's so well thought out. It really is such a gorgeous fabric. Ah, yes. It's bright, it's vibrant. This is going to stand the test of time, isn't it? You don't look into space and go, oh my goodness, it's another colour. You know, that doesn't happen. You know, this is it, isn't it? This is, you look up into deep space. Look at, yes. Look at the rockets. You get a lot of rocket. A lot of rocket for your money. You're getting 8.5 metres of fabric here in total. Whoa. 1 metre of your rockets.
It's lovely details in it.
There it is, and you've got the twinkly, twinkly stars again, haven't you?
An attached astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
On his line.
Look at that, all sorts of things in there. Satellites. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you've got that as well. But you see, this is it. You know, send your little ones off to sleep, snuggled under the quilt, telling them stories of space. We've got, I say we, as if, you know, we share it. He's got it because I really wanted it. Freddie's got a globe, but at night, when all the lights are out, you turn it on and it's got all of the constellations in. Oh, so this is perfect for him. He'd be so excited. Let's have a look at... Oh, are you repeating?
Well, I'm going to repeat the process, yes, so don't worry. I do need to...
I got excited because I saw astronauts. They look like they're dancing. They're not, they're just floating in space. Producer Paul says they're trying to survive, Natasha. They're not dancing.
He's dancing, definitely.
There is one dancing. They're throwing some shapes in space. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This fabric is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It would be easy to dance in low gravity areas. You could cut some right moves and swing around the place, couldn't you? Well, this is just some of it. Now, talking of cutting and sewing, here we go. Again, stitching absolutely on that line because this is your foundation piecing. We had a whole show on foundation piecing last week, I believe. First time that we've done that on air, so it's nice to see it repeated here as part of a larger quilt. So expand your knowledge, expand the different... Well, processes.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Have you done a lot of foundation piecing? Is it something that you
I don't do
like
it an awful lot, but I have done it, yeah. It's
so
something
nice
actually
to
that
get
you
out
should
and revisit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's something that you should do, actually, every now and again if you haven't, because...
Keep your hand in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that you could easily forget. So stitch on the line, and then what we do, we fold the... I've already done it on one side while you were looking at the fabric. We fold the foundation.
There's a lot of fabric to look at.
There's a lot of fabric,
I've hardly
I know.
scratched the surface, Angie.
I know. We fold the interfacing back, And I'd never used one of these before.
Oh, now these are our add a quarter whizzy things. Bit good, aren't they?
Great idea, yeah. So they're an add a quarter, great for foundation piecing. It's got actually a ridge in the bottom of the rule that when you place it over something folded like that, it just butts up.
Yes.
So then that's added my 1/4 inch seam on there, and then I can just whiz that off.
Now, instead of 2 of these, excuse me, today is first day of a cold and I'm sneezing all over the place. To get a set of 2 rulers, you've got a 12-inch one and a 6-inch one, £24.95, VDEQ 40. But they are very, very whizzy. They're brilliant, aren't they, for this?
Yeah, really good. So if you do enjoy foundation piecing, like I'd never come across these before, so that's really
just
cool.
Makes life very easy, and that's what we like. So when you fold back that paper, you can just make that cut.
That's it. So then we've got that.
Perfect point, look at that.
Those lovely sharp points.
Oh, yes.
And we just press that, and then you've got the foundation then to trim back to my, what would be on the template, the outside dotted line.
Press it first, would you?
Yes, I'd press it first, yeah.
Excellent.
So, shall I just trim that though?
Yeah. Do you want to press it first or trim it?
Give it a quick press if you don't mind.
You can't resist a quick press, can you? Here we go.
That's okay.
Now, let's have a look at everything that you get, because
just a quick one.
We haven't really touched on exactly how much you get here. 14 pages of instructions.
Thank you.
Which is excellent. Bondaweb, thread. You're also getting 8.5 metres of fabric. You've got 5 of your solids, but then you've also got, look at these. This is what it's all about for me. It's all about the spaceman fabrics. You've got your countdown fabric. You've got that with a navy background and a white background. You've got your planets. You've got your stars. You've got stars is everybody's favourite here, apart from me, because I like the dancing astronauts that I'm told aren't dancing. They're surviving.
That's my fault.
Yeah. Then you've got your rockets, and again you've got your circuit boards, and then these are your vibrant block colours. These really make a statement, don't they? Absolutely brilliant. And because a lot of those, your primary colours in there, so they are just they don't go out of fashion, do they? It's just brilliant. So that you can do your countdowns.
I think you have to have a bit of a dance to survive. Wouldn't you?
I think so.
Up there.
I think so.
Oh, lots of mess.
Yeah.
Lots of mess. So there we go. So there's one of our blast off flames.
We are getting ready for blast offs. Have you done 2?
Here's one that I've done earlier.
Yes.
And this one actually has got a little square sewn on the bottom, which
is that the next step?
Which is part of the instructions.
Let me find that.
I was going to say, you've got that page where it's got all the shapes.
Oh, the thread's running away. Come back, you naughty thread.
And I love
that we even get the thread as well.
I'll just point out that the larger template then is for... We're making a mess again, aren't we? Right, or I am. The larger template is for your red flame, your centre flame, which I can do now while you... So we're just...
This is going to show us exactly what we need to have where.
Shows you the breakdown of how to make those flames and then add a square. So I've got another square to go on the bottom of there.
So what's this one showing me?
That one is actually how to cut all the different shapes you need from the backing fabric, because it's all these different rectangles that then add on to all the sides of the rocket.
Oh gosh, so that's kind
of
not
the backing, the background. Yes,
so out of your stars.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is.
That's absolutely amazing. And then that shows you how to piece everything together.
That's right.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
So you can really accomplish this. So when you said that's the little thing, you've sewn F onto the bottom of B.
And on here, these Bs are actually the ones that you chop in half to make those triangles. So it does, it explains all that, so you can see where all the pieces are coming from.
Excellent.
Okay.
Good job. Page 7, page 8. All the pages are labelled in order as well, so if, like me, you get them all confused because you put them down and you have a little flick through.
Now, the red larger flame is done in exactly the same manner.
Okay.
I might come back to this later on in the show if we have time, because I want to show the number.
Oh, I know, there's just so much.
But if I get time, I'll come back to this. But I just wanted to point out that it's exactly the same, a foundation piece template.
Yes.
But a little bit just to confuse you. Instead of working with those triangles,
Yes.
it then, a bit like normal foundation piecing, it tells you to cut these two rectangles.
Back to the rectangles.
Back to the rectangles.
Okay.
So you've got a little bit more leeway with the fabric.
That's okay.
But I just want to point that out in case you get confused when you're cutting your instructions. But if I've got time to come back to that one, because do you think the viewers would like to see putting a number together, and then if we've got time,
I think
because that's the same process
that's the same
that
process.
I'm repeating.
Excellent.
So we'll do
It's
a
coming
number
together, isn't it?
Yeah, so they'd be really cool.
So if you've just joined us, we're all about the rocket quilt today. We are reaching for the stars. It is a fantastic quilt. This is an heirloom quilt. This is one that gets handed down through generations because, let's face it, at some point, every child wants to be an astronaut.
So that's going to...
Producer Paul still does.
Oh,
I still watch all of those sorts of programmes. I love all the programmes on space.
let's move some of the fins, shall we?
Yep. That was my favourite module in A-level physics, was the astrophysics part.
Really?
Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved it, yeah.
I wasn't really very good at sciences, or not interested at the time, you know, when you're younger.
But then afterwards you just realise how incredible it is.
Yeah, history, I love history.
So this is the thing, isn't it? Get them involved, get them interested. Get them involved. Now, I tell you what we haven't mentioned, and that is the batting. Now, we've got this for you. So this works for your batting. This is the right size for you. Like we say, we didn't add this in because some of you might want cotton batting or wadding. Which do we say in the UK? I can never remember. Which is it, wadding or batting here?
Wadding in the...
It's wadding here, batting in the States. Yeah. So here we go. This is obviously comes from the States, which is why it's called batting. So this is machine washable. We like that, and it's only $12.95. This is almost a double bed size, isn't it? Quilt.
Yes.
So this is 206 centimetres by 244. Now the quilt itself is 200 by 170 centimetres, so you've got plenty. That's why this is the right size, and it's only $12.95. HGGQ03 to get that.
It's really nice wadding, actually.
It is, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
And it actually doesn't break the bank either. For the size that you're getting, that's great value. Right. Oh, hello, number 4.
Hello, number 4. We've got this lovely numbers fabric.
Okay.
And I'm going to do this in the yellow. Do you want me to have that flat or up for the camera?
Why did you think that 4 was the hardest? What was it about it?
When you look at how they've broken down how to make the numbers, there's just a lot of verticals that go across the whole of the number, if you like. Like,
I see.
You know, the width of number 8 and 9 and 3, they're all the same width.
Right.
And you see the strips, if you look at the whole quilt. And the verticals are similar as well. But the number 4 has got this little cross in
got
it.
a little jiggly bit.
So I thought, well, that looks like a bit more complicated. Let's
we'll do that. I'm not going to say, you're not going to shy away from a challenge. It's like, right, 0. I will find the hardest one and do it for you.
That's right.
Brilliant. Okay, where do we start?
So again, if you were cutting this quilt out for a start, there's such a lot of different rectangles and sizes, as you can see. Have some envelopes available and some paper clips, and if you've cut the pieces for a certain number, maybe paper clip them all together or put them between some paper.
Organisation,
You need to, because believe me, I was even, you know, I prepared this a few days ago, and then I came back and I'm like, which bit goes where?
Did you do all the cutting first then? So you can then just sit whiz, sew?
Well, obviously, even having cut just these few pieces, I still read the whole of the 14 pages instruction to work out sort of how it all goes together and things like that.
Well, they are in-depth instructions. You know, they are pushing you for success. They, you know, there's 14 pages so that you get it absolutely right. But it's achievable. I mean, when I say 14 pages, you know, you had that layout.
The nice illustrations. Yeah.
They're not crammed. No. They're very nicely spaced so that it's not a
all
scary
text.
thing.
Don't be scared. No. And the beauty of it is actually that you could work on the numbers, you know, every few days you could just do a number. So it's not going to feel like a huge, like, you know,
it
too
breaks
repetitive.
Down into very manageable chunks, doesn't it?
It's not like repeating the same block over a whole quilt.
So it's going to keep your interest, actually, isn't it?
Everyone is different.
If I did a big double quilt of the same block...
Yeah. You might start
the first
to get
few,
a bit twitchy.
I'd be getting better,
Yes.
But then towards the end I'd be like, oh, same block.
Yes. Whereas this is all completely different piecing, so it's really, really interesting.
Brilliant.
So it will tell you to cut different rectangles and different squares out of your different fabrics. I've pieced some here together. So to make the number 4, it says to me, so a 2.5 inch by 3, which is probably that one, and a 2.5 inch by 4 of my numbers fabric, together either side of the 2.5 strip of yellow. So I've done that one for us.
Yeah.
Then we sew a 3.5 by 7.5 numbers rectangle to the top of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you just follow those
top.
instructions.
So I'm going to pop that on there.
So that's giving you that top part of that quilt. It's so clever, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really
So I'm just
great.
going to go and show you exactly which bit we're doing here. Well, Sanjit, so I feel like I want one of those pointy sticks that they have in lecture halls. We're doing the number 4 up here. So the bit that we're sewing on is this section here. If you can see that section there, it's that section there above. So we've got this section we've already got sewn, that bit sewn to that bit, sewn to that bit, and now we're sewing along there. So it breaks it down bit by bit. So this is where we're at. We're sewing that line along there. Yeah. Now I'm tall, okay? I have been described as a big old bird. It would be fair to say I'm about 5'11". This is 2 meters tall, 1.7 meters wide. It is huge. So it's yeah, there's like a little gap that I can get my foot under on the floor, but not much. This is a big quilt. So incredible for a bed, lovely as a wall hanging. Pop it down on the floor for kids to play on. 1.5 meters of fabric. Do you want to see? Do you want to see everything that you're getting? But it's not just the fabric that you're getting. You get the full instructions. You also get bond web. You even get the thread to sew it in, so you don't have to leave the house.
No,
it's brilliant.
It's great.
In fact, you won't want to leave the house because you've got all of this to get playing with.
I think it could be sort of like, you know, you've done one number. I'll just do one number today and then tackle another.
It's like when you start watching a box series,
yes,
isn't it?
I'm just going to say
that.
that.
I'll just do another. Before I go to bed, I'll just do another. And before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
You were an hour ahead of me. Brilliant. So I'll pop that back down there. Do that one.
Oh, it has to go in tip first. There you go. There's a knack to
go.
these things.
So the next instruction, apart from sewing the 3.5 by 7.5 numbers rectangle to the top, it then says sew the 7.5 inch strip of the yellow to the bottom part of that.
Okay.
And then we have a 6.5 inch yellow strip to the side of this piece. Okay.
Okay.
So now this is going here. So this is going
yeah.
on. So really, apart from the foundation piecing, which if you've never done foundation piecing, this is what I was saying was it's not a beginner's, but it's not that difficult
not that much
either.
of a step up.
You just have to be organised, take it step at a time.
It's going to keep your interest.
Yes.
It's going to up those skills. There aren't any blocks the same, looking at it. It's great.
Yeah.
It really is.
Lovely project. Really
so
nice.
A great aspirational project for you. And could you imagine if this was for a grandchild? Even if you had it in there, if you had grandkids, if they have their own room. Because, once your own kids move out, that room either becomes your sewing room or sort of, space for the grandkids. Or really for your childhood. Make it for yourself.
Yes. It is pretty. It's very.
We're going to have to frisk producer Paul because he wants to take this home.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a little bit obsessed. I'm not going to lie.
I must admit, this morning coming in, because I didn't, we normally make the finished product, but I knew it was obviously going to be here, and I was hunting. The first thing I did when I walked through the door was like, "Where's the Galaxy quilt?
Where is it?
I've got to see
It's here. Here it is in all its absolute glory. We had it hung in the hallway for a little bit. This came for a week actually, and it was so imposing. So we got this made from Makawa. So Makawa obviously are the company that have provided all the fabric for it. Can I just show you actually all of the fabric you get? Because I haven't even got part of the way through it yet.
Yeah, I do.
So you're getting
They're fab.
You're getting, here we go, all of your planets there. You get your planets. You also get your spaceships. You get all of those. You get your dancing astronauts. You get your countdown fabric in white. You also get, look at,
Huge.
come on, Angie, you hold one side of this. This is the, I say the background. It's not your backing, it's your background.
Yes, the sort of the base of the base fabric.
So you're getting 2 meters of that. Oh, could you imagine that in curtains?
Yes.
I'd love that in curtains.
Well, if you had it as a wall piece in a bedroom, that would be...
Yeah, you basically have, haven't you?
Make more.
So you get all of that. You're also going to get... God, there's so much. I'm making such a mess. I don't care. Again, with that navy background, you're also getting your numbers so that you can have your countdowns. That's what we've just been working with there.
Yes.
And then we made the rocket out of that circuit board, but you could equally have made it, because you get the same amount, out of the white numbers. Now, that's part of it. Let me then show you what else you get, because we're not stopping there. You then get your grey, you get your yellow, you get your green. It's only when you say it all together that you see it. You get, that's your port, you can get that as a backing. That's your grass, you can get that as your backing. Then that's your navy. Whoop, excuse me, Andy.
Does the port come in the kit as well? In the bundle? No.
So you get these colours in your bundle. No, you don't. You don't get those. Okay. You get those in your bundle with everything.
Yes, for the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the green does go in there. There we go. And that's everything that you're getting in there. So you get those brilliant colours. So you get another green and a red that we haven't got on the set. So you get all of those.
Oh, yes.
So you get, yeah, I think we've used those.
Yes.
Now, when we talk to you about the options for your backing, these are the options that we have for you. Of course, you can go onto our website and you can pick any of the solids that you want. You're going to need 9 units. It's 4.5 meters for your backing. That's your grass. And again, this is all on the website. That's your port, and that's your navy. This is all on the website. We're not gonna take up time showing you all the details. We'll put the navy in because I think that's probably most likely is the navy. Yeah. $3.25 per half a metre. You'll need 9 units of that. XGMY 65, but still, this is a very affordable quilt.
For the size of it.
For the size of it. It is huge. Right. Okay.
Super. Next stage on the instructions tells you know how I'd pre-joined a strip earlier?
Yes.
So then it tells you to join these 2 size rectangles onto another strip of yellow.
Yes.
Which I've pre-done. And then can you see then we're going to join this. So then we start to see how
it is a jigsaw, isn't it? Doing it step by step.
Step by step, how the numbers have been broken down. Yeah, so then I'm going to pop this on here.
So as long as you follow it step by step, then you'll end up with it lining up to the right piece to make it easy. And it is. It's just, this bit is just, well, it's all just it going in a straight line, sewing in a straight line.
Yeah.
It's just the different techniques that might be unusual for you or new for you.
Just the foundation piecing bit, and then there's a little bit of the planet is curved at the bottom, but that's what you have the Bonder web for. So you fuse that to your fabric, and it allows you to cut that. So that's what that's in there for in the kit. So again, you obviously press well each time.
Yes.
What you then do with each number, you'd get to this kind of stage where this is sort of butting up to the edge of your, you know, it's, you don't have the outer bits and the frame. And then this is like you would normally sash a block. You've probably done this before. So,
I don't know that I've sashed a block. Should I nod and say, yeah? No, what does sashing a block mean? I have no idea.
Well, to frame a block with sashing strips.
Right.
So now it explains for us to put these 2 on each side of there.
Right.
Okay. And then these 2 would go, because that would be a little bit smaller when that's joined.
Yes, by the time that it's all sewed in together,
And I know these don't quite fit, but it's because the 1/4 inch seam.
Yes.
And then you repeat the process with the yellow.
So it's sort of double sashed.
Yes, like a double frame that then gives you that outer. So I can continue with a bit of this, but then you start to see how it makes up. And
Wow.
you'll see from the instructions that all of the numbers have got that outer
Yeah, I mean, if I
sashing
just
going on.
pop that there, you can really start to see. So we've done the number 4 here, and so step by step it's come together, and you can see now this is where we're at now.
The sashing going on, yeah.
And then they come together. So it really is achievable step by step. You do this onto that onto that, and then it builds it step by step.
Yeah.
So I love this because it breaks everything down. It's how to eat an elephant one mouthful at a time. But that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I would look at that quilt and go, there's absolutely no way that I could do it. But
Yeah.
actually, when you break it down like this, if we've done the hardest bits, which is your foundation piecing, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got the number. I can do this. Brilliant. This is the kit. Just add your batting and your backing fabrics so that, you know, you've got the colour of your choice. $89.95, ZRGC 97. So you're getting 5 different solid colours, and then you're also going to get your 7 different patterned fabrics. Oh.
Lots.
Yeah, so there are 12 different fabrics. It's all right, I've had a moment while I counted them. 5 solids, 7 patterns, 12 in total, plus your bonder web, plus your thread, plus 14 pages of instructions. 14 pages because it is so in-depth, the instructions, but it's clear. They haven't skimped and sort of crammed it all in just to save on a few sheets of paper. It's easy to read. Let's have a look. Do you know what? Let's have a look at these instructions, because, you know, we say 14 pages like that's a really good thing. Other people might be thinking, gosh, 14 pages, there's no way I could manage that.
Some of those are templates, obviously,
Yes.
aren't they? So
Yes.
they're not written instructions.
You will need, it talks you through cutting out. And here we go. So it starts with your numbers here. And it just, so, you know, 14 pages, because step by step it's showing you how to piece each of those together. Each of the numbers is different. This is a quilt that's going to keep your interest, that you're going to keep going back to. You're going to do another letter, another bit, another part of the rocket each time. And it's going to build up and build up and build up. Because actually, not only are you using different techniques, but you're not getting the repetition that you would with a usual quilt. This shows you how to cut everything out. That's probably the most technical bit, actually, is making sure that you
the cutting.
You cut it out absolutely. And then here, this is your layout. This suddenly makes it really achievable, because you see those blocks and you go, yeah, okay, so that to that, that to that, and I end up with that. And then it's for you then to choose your batting. Then you've got your templates there. And so on and so forth. Yeah, the rest is all templates. So what are you doing now? Are you just doing the sashing?
Yes, I'm adding one round of sashing, so it gives that a little bit more space. But when you said earlier about would I do all the cutting out first, there are kind of, it depends how you work. There's no right and wrong. But if you do, I was just sort of mentioning, if you do cut everything out before you start, that's when you need to label everything.
I know that you are the labelling queen. Having seen you with that K facet quilt, you are absolutely the labelling queen. I'm very impressed.
If you cut as you go a little bit more, then you're only working on smaller amounts, aren't you? But yeah, if you cut it all out to begin with, please keep it all separate and in its little sections.
Awesome.
You'll get very confused.
You've just already, this is a big quilt. This is 2 metres tall by 170 centimetres. I mean, I am 5'11".
It's gorgeous.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And that's why I think this isn't just a quilt that you make for the kids when they're little. This is something that then goes on to that double bed. You know, when they turn teenagers maybe and they get a bigger bed, or when they go off to uni or whatever, it will go with them and it will be that reminder of home. I think it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Got those pieces there.
Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's a big one. Which for $89.95, 8.5 metres of fabric. That's a lot.
That's good.
Plus your bonder web, plus your thread, plus your instructions.
The design, yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Really unusual.
Oh,
Really unusual.
lovely.
That's starting to be a bit more sort of, you can see that coming together
Yes,
now.
you can. You absolutely
getting bigger
can.
and see it starting to come together, so that you can see how that works. So I can either carry on with a bit of that, or I can go back to doing a bit of red flame. Just
We've
at the
got
end.
3 minutes, so what
Only
would you
3
like
minutes.
to do?
Oh. Oh.
Let's
carry on
finish
with
off this little bit.
Okay. So I'll just keep going with my
And
sashing.
then that's a block. Then that's a block
That's
done.
a block done. Yeah.
Brilliant. So ZRGC97. Now it seems that the grass green is the most popular backing.
Oh.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be navy. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm pleased. I'm pleased about that.
Nice contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's nice.
Absolutely brilliant. And it'll pick out all the details because you've got that grass green in the planets, you've got it in the numbers, you've got it throughout. So actually...
Because of you, so you're...
Is it because I'm wearing green?
Probably.
Is that what it is?
Influence.
Subliminally giving you the green
I do love
vibe.
blue and green together, though. It's nice.
Do you reckon that's what it is?
I love blue
Wow.
and green together.
If only I knew that I had that much power. Now, of course, the nice thing, I'm just seeing you doing it, sashing, as I now know, is that because it's a solid, you don't have to worry about which way round it is. There isn't a right or wrong way, is there? It's just,
Yes,
it just
that's
is.
right, yeah.
So you can just pick it up and do it. So add your batting, your wadding, whichever way round you want to call it. Do you want to see it, actually? Because this is the one that we've recommended for this. It's $12.95 for this. And you're getting where are we? 205 centimetres, round up 206 centimetres by 244 centimetres. $12.95. That's incredible value, isn't it?
It's the size. Is it a particular size? Does it say?
Full size.
Full size. Oh, okay.
Full size. And that can be coming home to you today for $12.95. Details down there on your screen. HGGQ07. Now, let's have one last look at everything that we're getting because it's huge. So there are your instructions. You're getting 8.5 metres of fabric here, plus your bonder web, plus your thread. You don't even have to go and leave the house to find the thread that's going to work. That's just brilliant. There's your patterned fabrics. You get 7 different patterns, 5 planes. It's all going to work, an absolute treat. And that is what you're making. That is every little boy's dream, I think. Absolutely fab. So you can get it home today for $89.95. Add in your backing, add in your batting and backing of your choice. Just know that if you are popping in your backing, it is 9 units. That's 4.5 metres that you will need for that. In whatever colour your heart desires. Angie, thank you so
you're
much.
welcome. We were almost there.
It's been quilt-tastic. Look at this.
Almost there.
Absolutely
Just got that
fab. You've just made it so simple and easy for us.
Excellent.
Thank you
Hope
so
so.
much. We will see you again very soon.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll see you for dressmaking next.
Follow us on Instagram. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to get our latest posts. There are many different ways you can buy from us here at the Sewing Quarter. You can order from us by calling our free phone number at 0800 112 4433 and talk to the team at our UK-based call centre. Alternatively, there are other ways you can buy from us. You can go online and shop through our website at www.sewingquarter.com. You can even watch the show there and shop as you go. You can check out as many times as you like throughout the day and only pay a small fee of £2.95 postage and packaging for the whole day. We also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all products excluding custom-cut fabric. Our friendly UK-based team will help guide you through every step.
My name is Angela Attwood and I'm a free motion embroiderer, a textile artist and a quilter and a tutor. Well, I started life as a graphic designer. I went to art school and had 20 years in graphic design, but always sort of played with a sewing machine. I'm very tactile, so I'd always messed about with making things. And then a number of years ago just decided actually I'd like to make that my new career. So went off and studied City and Guilds in textiles to switch career. My favourite things I like to make are textile art pieces, although I have to say in the last couple of years I've become very hooked on patchwork and quilting. One nice tip that I was always given was when threading a needle, lots of us are there forever trying to thread a needle, is actually to take the needle to the thread, not a bendy bit of thread to a needle. The favourite items that I've made are a couple of different things actually. My favourite items from my textile art is the Birmingham piece. This is a piece inspired by Birmingham architecture, and it actually embodies my free motion embroidery, my textile art and my quilting, all in one piece. The Budlier is what clients seem to think is their favourite, but my most favourite thing to cuddle up in is my sofa quilt. So there's a few of my favourite things I've made. I think this will expand the sewing industry. Sewing had gone so out of fashion a number of years ago until the likes of the Sewing Bee brought making back into fashion. Quilting's always been there, a bit underground. The quilting ladies have been quilting away secretly when everything else went out of fashion. So there's more and more young people coming back to sewing, which is great.
Welcome back to the Sewing Quarter. This is our last live hour this Tuesday. Now we're back to dressmaking. So we've had 50-50 today, 50% quilting, 50% dressmaking. This hour we're making this gorgeous top. So this is, now what was it, a sleeveless shell design top in one of our very desirable fabrics. This is your Scandi. I think it's the lace, I do believe. But look at that. So this is the lace red. Now, we had a question in the earlier show. All of the Scandi are part of the same line range. And we had a question in saying, what sort of red was this? And I think this really highlights that this is a very warm red. It's a raspberry, strawberry. It's a fruity red, as opposed to kind of an orangey red. So it's very, very flattering to the skin. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. So that's $5.95 per half a metre for your white lace on red background. Again, this is 100% cotton by Macawa, part of the Scandi range. Now, this design here has come out of series 3 of the Great British Sewing Bee books. Now, this is what's happened. You get here, this is your book, Fashion with Fabric. And then you've got, here we go, oh, look at that. You've got everything from ball gowns, prom dresses, the whole lot. Look at that. That's rather stunning as well, isn't it? But you also get menswear in there, T-shirts. You get all of these different things to make. And the beauty of it is you get full patterns. On the one that we showed you earlier, you had to download the patterns. This, you get a whole book full of patterns. So there's a lot of projects in here. There's a lot of patterns in there. They are all in there for you. So the projects in the book, a lot of them happened on the show, but then you see here, you've got all of your projects in there. So what a lovely bundle to get that and that together for £21.95. It's a brilliant bundle. So that's what we've got for you today. Now, of course, we've taken, in fact, I do believe that this was actually part of, well, I'm going to take this with me, actually part of the second series, this design, of which our guest was one. Now, come and meet. Come and meet. Hello.
Hey, darling.
How are you doing,
You
Jenniffer
right?
Taylor? Are you well?
I am, thank you.
Good. Now, this is the funny thing about the books, isn't it? Because actually, from your series, you were series 2.
I was, yeah.
They've actually put one of the patterns that you did in this collection.
In this collection. What I really like about this one in particular is that it actually breaks down the reason why it's called fashion with fabric, or my interpretation of why it's called fashion with fabric, is because there's sections within the book where they talk about, I think it's like cottons, natural fibres, synthetics.
Yes, it's about the fabrics and what to best use those for.
Projects around those fabrics. So, and that's why the shell top was in one of those.
Now,
sections.
show us your shell top that you made off to B.
So this is the one that I made off to B. That's my one.
Fab.
So yeah, we had to do. I can't remember how many hours we had to do it. I think it was 2, if not 2.5.
Whoa!
But I really liked it. It's a shame it's not my size because it's got a really lovely scooped back on it as well, and then obviously we've got this little detail in the back with the little.
So this is the same as we've got made over there. Out of the Scandi red.
But I prefer that one.
Do you?
Prefer that one, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? It just goes to show, doesn't it?
Which always helps.
Instantly, it's preferable, isn't it, if you can actually wear it. But you see, this is the beauty of it, isn't it? Because it gives you a completely different feel to it.
Yeah,
I think this is very, very flattering. It's going in all the right places, but
really nice.
you know, if you wear lower jeans, then it's more flattering because you're not going to, you know, you're not going to show anything.
It's almost like a fishtail, isn't it? It's like a scooped back, but no, it's really lovely on this. It's really shape.
Peplum. It's
not
almost
quite
like
peplumly enough, but yes.
But just a little bit at the back, almost,
detail,
if I were to describe it. Now, you've taken the project out of the book. Obviously, you made one on the show itself, but you've taken it and you've done it in our fabric for us today.
Yes, I have.
This could be you making this. Is this a difficult make?
It's not a difficult one. It's got a really nice professional way of finishing the seams, which is not too dissimilar to
couture.
No,
couture finish.
Not couture finish. Not on the facings.
Right.
No, but just a very tailored way of doing it, really giving you that really nice clean finish. The couture element in this task, when I was on the B, was the tailor's tack for the button loop. Not tailor's tack, sorry, what am I on about? French loop.
Right.
That was the couture element, and it did have to be hand sewn. So we're going to go through that with you today, perfecting buttons, etc. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So again, very similar to our first hour. I'm gonna go you through and try and get these time elements back, as well as perfecting what the judges would be looking for.
Brilliant. Where do we start then?
Okay, well, before we scoot off, there was one thing that I didn't get to finish on the last day, because I know we always run out of time. But when we did our little threaded loop here, and I had this big, massive knot, I can imagine you at home going, what's she doing with that knot? All you need to do is just snip it off.
Okay.
So to finish that off, just snip off your big knot, and you can see that it's disappeared in there, so you've got that nice long list. But I just wanted to cover that because I know they'll be like, she's left that big knot in the back of that.
Snip it off and it's gone.
Patrick would not have been happy with that. So yeah, here we have the wonderful book, as you said, and this one does come with wonderful patterns. So I just thought I'd show you what that looks like.
So do you get a pattern per... Whoa, look at this.
So I thought it'd be worth getting this out. This is why we've put the lovely tools on today, because this is where you're really going to need them. There we go.
This is all coming.
So this is just one sheet. There's about 4 or 5 sheets.
There's a whole load, isn't there?
There is,
Hang on, let me just take a look.
Let me flip that round.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There's a lot in here. Okay.
So this is 30 exclusive projects. These are all the different projects within the book that you can be making. Just trying to find where this one... Oh, there we go. This is their version of it there.
That's it, yeah.
So you could do that. You could do that in our grey Scandi, and it would give us a similar look to that. Oh, aircon's blowing it. Let me use that as a weight.
Perfect. So well, you're not using the pattern, use it as a weight. So this is the pattern sheets. Like you said, there are several in there because there's so many projects. So
they're colour-coded,
They are colour-coded. So this is why I thought it's best giving you all the tools that you need to get started. So in this case, it would be your squared paper.
Could we maybe just turn that aircon off for a second, please? Because it's just blowing. It's blowing everything everywhere. Thanks.
So we've given you the squared paper, and we also gave you your tracing wheels.
Yes. Okay. Which one do we use?
Well, because of the way the colours are, depending on your paper, if I just use the part of this, you can actually see through the paper so you can trace directly.
Right.
Okay. But what I wanted to note here is that you can see that, like exactly what you said, these are colour coded. So you can see here it says the sleeveless shell top, but it's also a variation of the button back blouse. But this is almost like a kind of purpley navy colour.
Yeah.
So you would just be concentrating on that colour. So that's that.
So it's colour coded.
It's colour coded. But then you notice here you've got the back facing, and that's in a lighter blue. Okay.
Okay.
So just you need to be looking for the name and what it is that you need to piece out.
So it's not that actually the sleeveless shell top is all in purple. Actually, you've got blue in there as well.
Yep.
So it's just go by what it's actually called.
That's right. Yeah. So you've got the back piece here, the front piece is over there. The facing is here, and the back facing is there. But
there's a lot in this book.
Technically, you are right. There would be 4 pieces to this pattern, but I'm going to show you the cheat method.
Wow.
Okay. So what I did is, if I just bring this in super quick, I traced out the relevant size, and that was my size 12 for
Well, I'm just trying to have a look at the sizings. That's why I've just whipped the book out to take a look. So sizings.
8 to 20.
Size 8 up to 20. Yeah.
8 to 20. It's telling me on the patterns.
Fabulous.
That's why
Oh, you've got it there. Okay.
It's all on the patterns here, so you can see here it goes from 8 through to 20.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. Okay.
So I've gone ahead and traced out my size 12 of my back piece. Okay, so I've done that, and I've also done that with my front. So now I can remove my paper and get rid of my main, because you don't want to be cutting this up. You really don't want to be cutting this up. So this is why it's really important to have your handy tools with you. If you're a little bit more adventurous, then you could just go straight in with your wheel and Taylor's tracing paper. I give you that. I love the fact it's paper. You can be really robust with it. Whereas like tracing paper tends to not last as long, doesn't it?
No, this
will
really
make it last longer. So that's all ready to go back in my section, because that's my one, not yours. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out my front and back piece. That's already gone ahead and done.
Yes.
And now we are doing the facings. So rather than going out and cutting out a separate piece of paper, so you have your front and your back in your main fabric, and then a front and a back in your facing, I've gone ahead, and if you can see here, I traced my facing line onto what was my back.
So is it effectively the same then, but just...
It's absolutely the same blueprint.
Right.
It's just that it finishes in a different position. Oh. So you can see that this is where the facing finishes, and that's where the top finishes. Okay, so they're different.
It comes down quite a long way, the facing, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does come quite a long way, because we're doing an all-in-one facing, so not only is it looking after the neckline, but also the armhole. You want a decent length on that.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So all I did was trace it, very similar to how I did the outline of my size 12.
Yeah.
I just traced where my facing was, rather than get a separate piece of paper and trace it all again. I've just
made life easy.
Yeah, made life easy and saved time, because it's a time challenge.
Right.
So the next thing to help save you further time, rather than cut it down to my fabric, I'm going to go to my interfacing first. So so I've cut out my main fabric. I've done my front and back full size. That's already done, but I haven't done my facings yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to go straight to my facing. So I've put it on the fold because we want 2 of these because we're doing the back. Okay, and then I'm going to place this on top.
So do you do this on the fold?
I'm doing it on the fold because I want to do 2 at a time.
Okay.
So again, that's a little sort of time saver there. On the front facing, you would need to do it on the fold because obviously you want it to be one whole section. And I'm just going to pop a few pins in place. But what I'm not going to do is pin here, and there's a reason for that.
So you're not pinning right up against the fold?
No, because it's not on the fold. I know I've written fold there, but that's wrong. Ignore that.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not on the fold.
Right.
Because if you notice with the pattern, it slightly swings.
Oh, yeah,
and
to get
that gives you that lovely shape in the back.
Swish.
Okay, so it's not on the fold. Please ignore that. That's me writing on the wrong piece of paper. Okay, so I've popped a few pins in just to keep me in place.
Yes.
So this is where I get my tracing wheel.
Yep.
And I get my paper, my tracing paper. So I've gone with a nice bright red, so hopefully you'll be able to see that on camera. So this is actually almost like a carbon paper. It's almost like Taylor's chalk. This will last you an absolute lifetime, and I think the packet is open if you want to get all the other colours out. So depending on what you're doing, I mean, I'm doing it on interfacing right now, but there's no reason why you couldn't do this direct onto fabric, and then you've got different colours depending on what fabric you're using, whether you need to see it or not. So obviously if you're using a very dark fabric, you'd want maybe a white or a yellow or something like that.
that.
There's your yellow. So you've taken the red out. So there's your yellow. And there's tissue paper in between each just to save them from getting dirty. There's your blue there. And then you get 2 of the white in there as well, plus that red for £2.95. £3.95 rather. Bargain. Pop it in.
Bargain, bargain, bargain. So I've got my pattern in place. I've got my interfacing down, which is pinned, and I've just placed my carbon paper face down. So the coloured side is facing down on what I want to mark.
Okay.
I'm taking my little tailor's wheel. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is trace.
Can't believe how affordable the tailor's wheel is. Like £2 for a tailor's wheel.
Honestly, just put it in your basket. Just put it in your basket. So I've gone around. So in theory, you could copy without using the paper at all, if you're doing like a paper version. So you know we were on about tracing around our pattern. Rather than using the carbon paper, just go in with your little, because it perforates the paper slightly.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't damage it, it won't rip. But if you want to trace something super quick without having to use your pen or pencil, just run it around with your little wheel. But when you want to transfer onto fabric, you need your carbon paper. So if I lift that up, so you can see there. Can you see?
Oh, look.
Cha-ching.
That's brilliant.
So that's done. So now I've done that, I can then go in with my scissors, cut around the shape of my neckline, which is normal. It's exactly the same as the main body of the garment, you know, like the right and wrong sides.
Yeah.
So I'm just going around that quick. Obviously, I need to transfer all my notches, which I'll be doing in a second.
So you still transfer your notches and everything else?
Absolutely. Everything needs to be the same.
Right.
In theory, we could go in again with our... rather than doing my cut version, if you wanted to, again, you could use your tailor's paper.
Okay.
You don't have to do the scissor option. Okay. So now I've done that. Now I can remove. This feels weird.
Yeah.
Because I haven't cut that bit yet, but I can.
But you're going to.
Because I've done.
Because you've done the tailor's chalk and you've had the carbon paper.
Tailor's chalk.
Well, the tracing paper is what we call it.
Okay. So now I can go in with my scissors, cut around as normal.
Gives a really clear line, doesn't it? That's
isn't it?
fab.
So there we have our 2 facings, right and left, done.
Perfect.
So then we can go to our fabric straight away.
This book, very, very popular, and I'm not surprised. Let's have another look through. This is the top that... Whoa, sorry, my love. This is the top that we're making. Now, we've done it in a red, but they've got it in grey in the book. And actually, we've got a grey for you. We've got a grey lace, and actually, you're making it in the grey this hour, aren't you? I'm making it in the grey, yeah. Which is absolutely lovely. This is a classic. For me... I love this style of top that comes down a little bit further. It's incredibly flattering. It comes down a little bit further at the back. So it's like you say, it's a very flattering, very easy fit. Yeah, really, look. Really so there you can see there that it's just coming down lower at the back. Just lower at the back. Well, I find that I'm having to always, especially when you're bending over, well, you always expose a little bit of your back, don't you? Whereas you don't want just giving you that little shell. Hence the shell top. I think that's what it is. Yeah. So you get all of these, but you're getting, for each of these, step-by-step instructions. You get beautiful designs, all in there, incredibly informative. But for me, the big plus point is that you get a whole folder full of patterns. It's a book of patterns. Could you pass it to me, please? Yeah, of course, darling, yeah. We use it to weigh down. These are all of the different designs that you get the patterns for. And these are the patterns. So you're going to get all of these. Look, there's loads. And they're double-sided. Double-sided as well. Yes, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're double-sided. So that's 10 all of those patterns. Pieces. I would be really scared to unfold those because you know what I'm like. It's like getting out a map, isn't it? I can never fold it back in again, and I've got to try and get that back into there. But you are getting so much full patterns for £21.95. 30 full patterns for £21.95 plus the book. I mean, that's incredible value just for the patterns. But then you get a lovely hardback book with all the inspiration, beautiful photography on top of that. It's a bargain. I'm not getting that in there, you know that, don't you? AZSP76 is how you get that book and those patterns. I'm going to be back in a second. I'm going to go look at the fabric for you because we haven't actually looked at that yet. Whoop.
Careful, my doll.
I'm just tripping over stuff.
Tripping over.
Let's have a look at the grey, because this is what we're going to be working with today. Now, if you've bought any of our Scandi series, then you'll know what beautiful soft greys and soft reds they are. For a ½ metre of your Scandi, and this is your lace, we're looking at £5.95 per ½ metre. Now, to make this project, you're going to need 4 of these units, because you need just under 2 metres for it. YGMY53 gets you this, but look at the delicacy in that. Now, you can dress this up for evening. Look at that. That is just divine. That's why it's called lace, isn't it? Because of that intricacy. Really beautiful. So from afar, it just looks like a pretty pattern, but when you get in and you see that detailing in there, absolutely stunning. Dress it up for evening, you know, with your jewellery, but it's very, very wearable daytime as well. Just throw a cardigan on with it and you are good to go. £5.95 per ½ metre, and you're going to need 4 lots of that. That's the grey, but of course, you know, if you've loved the Scandi material, and it sold out in the week last week when we bought you the grey striped Scandi, this works with all of that. So maybe you absolutely love that fabric and yes, you need more. Then here we go, this is your red. And what I love about this is the softness of the red of this colour. We've kept it in your ½ metre increments so you can buy. It might be that actually you want this for home decor. Maybe, you know, you're going, I must have that Scandi feel in my home. It's very trendy. It's very on trend at the moment. In which case, yes, do that. You can decide how much you want. It's £5.95 per ½ metre. But if you're dressmaking with it today, if you're wanting to make this, and I'm going to spin her around again. I need to be careful where I pop my hands. There we go. You can see this very flattering detail here of the fact that it just is so flattering there.
Just glides
so it's
off the
just
nape of
going
the
to
back.
cover just below the hips onto the buttocks. It's going to cover there. And actually, you know, for me as a mum, I'm always running around having to bend down and pick things up after the small person. Then that's very, very flattering for me. I'm not revealing any flesh. This is perfect top. And actually, this is going to make part of your capsule wardrobe. You know, you can have this in so many different colours. It's incredibly flattering. Throw a cardi on it for the evening, or a wrap or something like that. Dress it up. Bong it with a pair of heels. Lovely. Very, very stylish. Now, this is one of the 30 projects in the book. I'm going to... Excuse me. It's going to be one of 30 projects within the book. So you've got plenty to choose from. In fact, it's a wardrobe in one, isn't it, that book? Absolutely stunning. It's all about your fashions. It's all about which fabrics to use. And then giving you the appropriate patterns to use for those fabrics. So giving you those techniques to work with. Because sometimes, you know, yeah, we work with cotton. We work with cotton all the time. But actually, would you know how to work with a wool? Would you know how to do with that? So actually, now it's going to demystify. There's even some leather in there. It's going to show you how to work with all of these items, all of these materials, these fabrics that sometimes we're a little bit nervous of, so we steer clear with. So dip your toe in and get making that wardrobe. Absolutely gorgeous. So the book today, £21.95, but you're getting 30 full-size patterns in there, and there's something for everyone. It is incredible value when you think 30 full-size patterns. What does that work out a pattern? If we ignored the fact that you get a beautiful book, how much? 73p per pattern. That's not included. That's ignoring the fact that you get an entire beautiful hardback book with it. That's value for money. AZSP 76. Let's see what you're up to over here.
Cool, so I've gone ahead and stuck my interfacing directly onto the fabric. I cut it out.
And is that just an iron-on interfacing?
Yeah,
is that all it is?
Yeah. Just iron-on interface, just to help give it that structure. And again, just sewed the shoulder seams together along with the main fabric, main body pieces as well.
So it's not making it stiff, it's just giving it more structure.
Yeah, it just helps keeps that neckline behaving. It makes it behave. Not that this fabric needs any encouragement, but it just helped just had that structure around that lovely low neckline. So yeah, it's nice to have a bit of interfacing in the neckline. It's
an all-round flattering top.
It's really, really lovely, definitely. And it's interesting what you said about the book and having all those sections of fabric, because that was the one thing that on my series that they really put us through the mill. I mean, I was working with fabrics that I'd never even
seen before, let alone sewed with. I mean, I've got my little... We talked about this in the first hour.
Oh, yes, we did. Oh, we've got it actually here.
So these are all like, because I didn't know I was going to get the garments back, I just took little pieces of samples, bits that obviously you're cutting as you genuinely do. So what these are my series, so they go down in order, and then the challenges go across.
Okay.
So I've pieced them all together. So we're using cottons here, we've got wool here, we've got silk, we've got the lycra challenge with zips, and then we had leather, which I'd never worked with, taffeta, velvet. I can't even touch velvet anymore. And then we did a rain mac one. That was interesting working with that, because I was expecting that to be really super slippy, but it was like punching through paper. It was really quite nice. So yeah, those are all the different fabrics, but they really put us through the middle.
So if you get the book, then you can work with all these different types of fabric.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a really nice one.
Very nice. Does that hang in pride of place in your home?
In my sewing room, in my sewing shed. Yeah, my sewing shed.
We've had a message from Karen. Hello, Karen. What size do the patterns go up to? They go up to a size 20, Karen, for you. And also Pauline asks, can you alter the patterns for the bust size? It's got, on some of it, it's got lengthened, shortened, so, you know, I'm sure there's room for manoeuvre.
I believe in the book it shows you how to do that, if you want to double check while I'm doing the face line, but I'm pretty sure there is a section on altering. If we're talking about full bust adjustments, if you can clarify what you mean by that. Are we talking lowering or highering the dart, or a full bust adjustment? And then we can clarify that for you.
Let me investigate the situation for you.
Well, while you do that, I'm just going to pin my facing to my main fabric, my darling. So
okay, you do that then.
We don't lose any time.
So you've got garment instructions. You've got.
It might be at the beginning section. If not in this book, it will be in the.
You've got your men's classic T-shirt. You've got kids wear. You've got the drapey knit dress. Oh, I like that. Glossary of stretch fabric, types of stretch fabrics. But it was men's kilt.
Yeah, that was one of the challenges in the third series. Yeah.
Ladies, here's one for you. Just saying, you know, men's kilt.
That was one of the challenges. I'm so glad that wasn't on my season. I think I would have died.
Production and directing guys upstairs, they could pull that off.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah. In fact, we should make that their uniform upstairs.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yes. Wow. Let me see what else there is. Glossary of wool and animal fibres. Let me see. Yeah, they're just checking with HR. It's okay to give me a uniform. It's fine.
Oh, they're checking already.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good
No, they're eager. They're eager.
Okay.
You get course skills with each of these as well.
Yeah, definitely. They cover a lot.
There's all sorts. Yeah, pinning and adjustments. Yes, you're covered. It's all in there, so that you can do your adjustments in there. Tells you how to do it.
Perfect.
Having the pattern book with it just really makes it, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. And like you say, I understand the frustration because most patterns only tend to go up to a size 18, 20 if you're really lucky. So I know that a lot of people have been struggling with the pattern sizes. So it is worth getting these, especially this kind of book where it's showing you how to cut your pattern up, which I know can be quite scary, to make those adjustments to make your clothes fit you. So here's my facing. I've pinned it in. So all I'm going to do now is just go around my neckline with a 1.5 seam allowance.
Right sides together.
Right sides together. So if I just flip that for you, there's the right sides together.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that straight away for you.
This isn't too daunting.
No, and it's not too dissimilar to the what dress did we do now? Swing dress.
I didn't see the swing dress.
You need to watch it on YouTube, my darling.
I know.
You need to watch it on YouTube, but with the all-in-one facing, it's really lovely. So the difference between this and that one, I mean, the facing is the same, and again, it's a really nice professional way of finishing not only your necklines but your arm sides as well.
This is where it doesn't feel like a homemade project, is it? This feels very professional. As soon as you pop in a really nice facing in something, then it does feel like a top-notch project. So this is what we're making today. This is what Jennifer's busy whizzing away at. That's in your red Scandi. We've also got this in the grey. You're going to need 4 increments of this. So because we're selling it by the half metre, when you go online, you just need to put 4 in, and that will get it to you. WDM 37. That is for your, well, for the red one that you're seeing there, $5.95. Now, if you need the book because you need that super flattering top, I'm a big fan of this top. $21.95 with 5 huge pages of patterns. So whilst Jenniffer just sews around there, let me show you. This is 1 page of 5. Are you ready for this? Because it's all included in the book. I thought you had to buy the pattern separately, but it's not. It's an amazing addition. So look, this is just one of the pages. You're getting 5 of these so that you get all 30 full patterns. So none of that having to get it printed out or anything like that. It's all done for you. It does look like some sort of crazy map.
Well, this is why I thought, let's get it out, let's have a look at it properly. It looks daunting, but once you know what you're looking for, it's like really I say, it's all colour-coded. You just need to look for the appropriate page to find your pattern and then just trace it off.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by that, I have to say.
And then you keep it forever then. That's never going to get cut up, you know? Nice, isn't it? Yes, it's that section there. It's that section there that you're looking for to know what patterns are on that page.
Okay, right, so this has got, on this pattern sheet, you've got the leather jacket and the Classics men's t-shirt, but on the other side, you've got the sleeveless shell top and the button-back blouse, silk woven tee and shift dress. So this is the bit that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant, and we're doing the sleeveless shell top today.
Yes, we are. So I'm just going in with my pinking shears now, just to, again, sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, pardon the phrase. But we talk about clipping in the neckline, don't we?
Yes, yes,
so
we
you're
do.
Able to,
is that okay to do that? Because that does. That's what I always think is, you know, just it's fine. Just
it down.
Pop in with your pinking shears.
Yeah, the quick one would be to do the pinking shears. It depends on how drastic the neckline is. But when I did mine with this method, and it's come out fine. So go in with the pinking shears. It saves you time, and we're in a challenge here. We're in a challenge.
About this. We have. So if you've just joined us, we have challenged Jenniffer to show us the finer points of making this top. So it's those little things that would give it away quite easily as being a handmade garment, a homemade garment. So if we get rid of those, if we make those absolutely the best they can be, no one's going to know.
No one's going to know.
It's just going to look absolutely top-notch.
So after you've done your clipping on your facing, so I know this looks a bit of a dog's dinner at the moment because it's all splayed out, but we've got our facing here and then we've got our main fabric there, and we've obviously just cut around our edges. So one of the things that we did in this challenge was understitching, and I didn't know what that was.
Right.
So when I went in, I was stitching something like 1 centimetre away from the edge of the curve, and that it does the job, but that's not understitching. Understitching needs to be super, super close to the original stitch line. I'm going to walk you through now. But what understitching does is stops your facing from rolling out of your garment. So if you buy something from the shop and you're constantly having to tuck in the facing, it's probably because it's not being understitched. So therefore it keeps rolling forward, and you don't want that. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to stop that. And also, again, it just makes that neckline just behave itself. It makes it sit against the body nice and cleanly against the neckline.
You've been on a journey, haven't you? With the
I learned so much. Albeit with telling off, and you've done that wrong, but you learn from your mistakes, don't you?
You do. No, you absolutely do.
To show you what I'm doing, and for speed, I'm doing it with the wrong side facing me.
Right.
Okay, but in reality you would do it the other way, but for speed do it the other way. So I'm going to push my my clipped edge towards my interfaced side.
Right.
Okay, and we are literally, let me just push that down. So it would have been best if I'd gone in with the iron. I'm going to be stitching so close to my original, let's put the needle down, to my original stitch line.
But you're sending those...
But I'm sending those raw edges towards my interface side. So it's really important here that you are pressing your seams away from each other. So if I left it like that, the likelihood is I'd stitch it, so I'd have a crease on that side, and I don't want that. So it's really important that you are pressing your seams open. Actually, oh, there you go.
So it doesn't matter, take your time. If you need to lift up and put that material back under, then you
yeah,
can.
definitely. I mean, ideally, you'd probably go in with the iron before doing this step, but obviously I'm super rushing. So if I stop there, so then I can just show you very quickly what that looks like on the other side. So I stay here, I'll come over to the main. There you go.
Oh, so you've got... Right.
So again, this is going to be super hard to see, but this is where my original stitch, and the stitch is literally, it's not stitching in the ditch, but it's close.
Right, okay, let's be able to see this here. So
I get a pin.
That's your original stitch, and then underneath you've got another line of stitches. Do you want to poke it with your pin?
Where are you?
Up.
Oh yeah, there. So there's my original stitch line, and there is where the understitch is.
That's how close it is.
That's how close it is, super close. So when you press that down, you're right. So if we come back round this way, you can see how when I lay that flat, I haven't even pressed it yet, but you see how it just wants to sit right. It just wants to sit correctly, whereas on this side, you can see, if I do my other neckline that I've not done yet, you see how it's wanting to pull it?
Yeah.
It's wanting to pull it that way, where we don't want that, we want it to be lying flat.
And that's just from doing that one extra line of stitching? That's just from doing that one extra line of stitching. God, these are the tips, aren't they? These are the tips. Are these in the book?
They are all in the book.
Hey,
Yay.
Good job.
They are in the book. They wasn't in the book when I did the B, but they are now.
Well, they are in the book. That's
exactly.
why. He hadn't done it. So this is the book from which all of this comes, this super flattering design. Now, each chapter is focusing on a different type of fabric. So just demystifies its properties, why you would use it, suitability, you know, but also gives you some great patterns as well to use it with. So, producer Paul is, he said he would be happy to pay this just for the book. He can't believe you get all 30 full patterns as well. They're taking the mick out of me upstairs. Because I always say that it makes a lovely coffee table book, and obviously, you know, the boys wouldn't necessarily have this on their coffee table, but for my coffee table.
But I do like to look at books while I'm drinking
Yeah,
my coffee.
absolutely. Gives you that inspiration.
You're still working.
Absolutely.
You're still gaining your tips.
So you're getting all of these different designs. So you've even got your men's shorts in there, your leather in there. There's the kilt.
You love that kilt.
Don't know why, I'm just, you know, loitering there. Oh, there's his knees.
That is a great dress. And it has pockets, so...
Yeah.
See? It has a pocket.
What a lovely dress that is.
Really like that detail.
Ooh, look at it in that.
It looks nice, doesn't it?
Gosh.
It's worth getting just for that dress alone, I think.
There's your men's classic T-shirt.
No, not the T-shirt, the dress.
The dress, well, you know.
And then something for the kids, yeah.
Fab. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah, nice silky top. Oh, hello. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's gorgeous. So this is, again, working with your more difficult, your more finer, complex fabrics, like your satins or taffetas or...
Beautiful.
Chiffons.
It doesn't shy away, does it, from these trickier fabrics? It's boom, straight in there.
Even if you're not going in to get it as, you know, because it's a Great British Sewing Bee book, as just a general reference book for different fabrics and how to tackle them, I think it's definitely really worth investing as a book on its own anyway.
This is the pattern. Well, this is in addition.
Pack, yeah.
So the pattern pack, they are the patterns that you're getting. 30 exclusive projects in here, and here you're going to get 5 full pattern sheets, both sides.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and unwrap that and wrap it back up again because it was an absolute nightmare. But they are huge
Just there's loads. All of them.
Yes,
30
all the patterns
projects.
are in there. You're not missing out on anything. Everything you need is directly in there, which is always good.
Love it.
Cool. All right then. So the other bit that I think the judges would be looking for is that button fastening on the very back of that neckline.
They were that fussy. They'd be lucky to get a button if I'd done it.
I don't know if we could have a chance to spin the top
Well,
around.
let me go and spin her around.
But if you look at the top section, the two neckline pieces should meet seamlessly at the back.
Nice.
So we didn't want any stepping or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then if you undo the button.
Oh. Yes. Undoing the button. Oh, look, this is what we're going to learn how to do.
Yeah, so this is so that's the couture finish that they're looking for. So not only are they wanting that neckline edges to meet with no stepping whatsoever.
Which they do beautifully, by the way. Top marks there.
Well, that'd be practice. But they wanted that couture finish with that Taylor.
I'll leave that open so
I keep
we
calling
can
it
see.
a Taylor's tack, and it's not called a Taylor's tack, it's a French tack.
Yay, that's what we're doing.
So that's what we're doing now.
And that's in the red Scandi. Details down the bottom of your screen there in your red. Beautiful. So if you want to make that exact top, you're looking at 1.8 metres.
1.8 metres.
For that, so you have to get 2 metres of fabric. But you're going to have some left over.
Some left over.
And I couldn't work out why you needed so much, because you got so much of the facing.
But it's actually the problem that it's not even a problem, but because of the sort of fishtail back, for lack of a better expression, you need the width of the fabric. So where you would probably be able to get 2 pieces either side of the selvage, like with the skirt, for instance, depending on what size it is, you can actually get 2 pieces side by side. This one you have to put in above each other because of the swing of the back. So that's where you need that extra meterage there.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so on the back of our facings, you notice I've just gone in with my little red Taylor paper and wheel, just so you can see where my notches are a little bit more clearly. And I've sewn down again with the same seam allowance from the top of the neckline down to that point, and that's going to give us that opening for the back of our neckline. Okay. So once I've done that, I can then poke these out the right way. So can we get our trusty knitting needle, because that's always a tool that you need. Merci. Okay. So again, that's giving you a nice, clean, pointed edge. So that's definitely something that they'd be looking for. They wouldn't want any baggy corners at all.
No one wants a baggy corner.
Nobody wants a baggy corner. So if you notice, when I turned it out, I didn't clip my corner because it's a nice right corner.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it in, and then also when it comes to sewing my button on, it's got something extra to hold on to.
So
depending on your corners, you might not want to clip. And in this case, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to clip it. And then this way, it's really going to give me that nice sharp edge and some additional material and interfacing to hold on to when I'm 1, sewing my button on, and 2, doing my couture button loop. All right, so that's the first thing. So once we've done that, we can get that out of the way. So again, you might want to just go in with the presser. Iron.
So this is the grey Scandi that we've got here in the lace. That is just gorgeous.
Thank you very much, my darling.
So £5.95 per half a metre. We've done this on purpose, really, because I know that a lot of you love the Scandi for many reasons. I know that a lot of you bought the grey and the red striped Scandi last week. So if you've got that design and you want to make the same but in this pattern, then you can. You're going to know how much you want. You might have other patterns that you want to work with. There might be other patterns within the book that you want to work with. So we left it so that you knew how much fabric you needed. Or actually, you might just want to you might just want to decorate your home in it, because it's
it's such a versatile fabric. The fact that you can, 1, make a top out of it, or 2, do whatever you want to do.
Well, I think, Scandi, for me, Scandi had started off for sort of home decor, but I love the fact that we can now wear it, and it's just such an intricate, very pretty, feminine fabric.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
So Irene's done the right thing. Well done. She's bought 4 increments, which is 2 metres.
Perfect.
So then you've got it. So that's to make this top. It goes from a size 8 up to a size 20 for you. No, that can't go there, my love.
Oh, okay.
It's got special heat resistant
heat
stuff
resisting
over here.
things.
Oh, yeah. Now, the book over here, of course, is
Well, this is what's enabling us today, because this is where we're getting this pattern, 29 other patterns, full patterns, because you're also going to get that stuffed full. I can't actually put them back in.
I'll do it later, don't worry. It will go back in. She's just not being forceful enough. Get in.
I can't do it. I can't refold maps, and I can't put anything. Once I've taken something out of a packet, that's why they always go, oh no, when I open anything, because invariably I can't put it back again. So it forces somebody else to do.
I love that. Right, I'm just going to grab my button. So I've gone with a wooden button on this one. Rather than a red one. I thought the red one looked nice on this, but I think the wood one looks nice on the...
Oh, no, the wood's lovely on that, isn't it?
It does look lovely, doesn't it? Okay.
We've got wooden buttons on the website, so do check those out.
Okay. So I think one thing that we always forget to do properly is sew on buttons. And I know that sounds really, really daft.
No.
But it really does make a difference. And again, our Patrick did like to check our buttons.
It's not just that, but how often do you buy maybe a cheaper item of clothing and the button comes off? Because they haven't sewn the button on properly,
exactly.
You know.
So before I sew my loop on, I'm going to sew my button on. So I've put a knot in the end, and again, this is purely for speed, so I can get in to do my button straight away. So similar to when we started the loop, I'm going to come in at a random place and then head towards where I want my button.
Does that mean you'll be able to chop that?
Yeah, so I'm going to be chopping. I will be chopping that knot off later, but it just helps, rather than speeding and pulling out your thread accidentally because you're rushing away, by securing a knot on the end, you can tug away as much as you like and it's not going to come flying off, whereas if you don't do that, then you're going to lose your button. All right, so I'm just going to go in, and again I'm just going to do, which you wonderfully picked up, my lovely lady, which is a French knot, which is where you wrap around your needle before passing that through. So that's giving me a nice knot towards that. So in theory I could chop that off straight away if I wanted to.
Yeah, I'd wait.
Just wait, to be sure. Wait a little bit. So the next step I wanted to do, I did pick up a pin and I've lost it. Where's it gone? So
it's there.
Oh yeah, well done, thank you. Okay, so the tip that I would say to yourself, you could do this without one, but I would suggest getting a needle, a pin, with a head on it. So whereas this one hasn't, this one has. Okay, so what I would do is pop that into where you're going to start sewing. Okay, is that a good colour? Shall I go with a darker colour? Go with the red maybe? Because you can't really see that.
You go with whatever.
Let's go with that big one there, because it kind of blended in a little bit with that grey, didn't it? There you go.
There.
You can't miss that now, can you? Okay, so there you have. So what that's doing is giving me a lift away from my fabric.
Right.
So you should notice, like you say, you mentioned it earlier, that when you have items from shops, the buttons always tend to fall off. That's because they're not giving it any distance between the fabric and the button. So what happens is there's so much tension that the threads just pop. So what you need to do is create a kind of shank. Well, it is actually called a shank, which is a distance between the fabric and the button. So once you've done a couple of stitches, so I'm not going to go mad. This is my third time in and out now. Okay, now I can remove my pin.
Okay.
As you can see now, that's given me a bit of movement in my button. So when I get my second layer of fabric underneath that, it's not going to put that extra tension on my fabric or my thread, because either one of them...
brilliant top tip.
One of them's going to give, and it's either going to be the fabric or the thread first, but either way you're going to sew that button back on again, and we don't want that. So my thread is coming in the back of my garment, so I want it to bring it in between, you can see there, between not only the button but the fabric. And then before we do anything else, we are going to wrap the thread around that shank that we've created. I want to go around a couple of times. As you can see, that's given me a nice shank now. Yeah. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to pass the needle through that shank. We're going to go once and twice again. This is our sort of tailor's our French knot. So that's given me a nice secure knot. And then I'm going to go into the base of the shank, and again, same technique, coming out randomly in the garment. So you can see it's not on the other side, it's between those layers. So now we can go in with our lovely little snips.
Lovely
little snips. So not only can we get rid of that knot now, so be careful that you don't cut your fabric. So that's that one done. But now you can also snip that one as well. So you can see
That's
that's
a
completely
great tip. I'm going to do that.
Good girl.
With my buttons,
So
I'm going to
hopefully-
pop a pin in. That's brilliant.
Well, it just, like I say, it just gives that distance away from the fabric and the button, and it allows that extra layer of fabric to get underneath without causing any pressure on not only the fabric but the thread. So that's how you would finish it. And again, because you've got those two lengths there, they almost act like second knots because it's having to, that thread has got to go all the way up towards that button before it even gets to the knot that you created at the beginning or the end.
I'm smiling because I always think of you with buttons, just because I think one of the very first times I met you, we rifled through somebody else's button box because I'd lost a button on my blazer, and then we found all sorts of different...
We're like, oh,
yeah. And I ended up snipping off the other buttons and putting all sorts of a mishmash of buttons because I loved them. So that always reminds me of you. We are getting low on stock of the book. You're absolutely loving it, and here's the reason why. 30 different full colour instructions in here, and then you get the full colour patterns as well. In addition, it comes as like a separate book. Obviously, yours will come full. I've taken them out. So 5 large sheets. Have you got your sheet there? We can open it.
Yeah, of course. One side. There you go.
Hey, 5 of these. But stocks are running low, so please do grab it if you need it today. So you get this side, you get the other side. Look at that. Whee! I'm going to flip it. So this is for your leather jacket.
But I think seeing patterns like this where they're overlaid on top of each other could be quite daunting if you've not. Because normally when you buy a pattern, it's a single pattern. You'll have just to cut out that one piece, whereas this has got several pieces. So in fact, it's got the leather jacket and the classic man's t-shirt on this one piece of paper, but there's several pieces in there. So you just need to look for what you're going for. So this one's a state very clearly. This is the leather jacket in pink, but then you've also got another section over here. There's another section here. This is the back section, or side back, should I say. So you just need to trace around. This is why it's really good to handy to pop in your tailor's wheel, your tailor's drafting paper, and definitely that tailor's the tracing paper for your wheel. It's definitely worth popping that in.
I want to find that leather jacket because...
I'm just going to thread a needle.
That's the ladies' leather jacket. But you see, you would know... OK, so for example, the leather jacket... so we've got here, comes in size 8 through to 20. So you've got all of those different options there. But as you go, so for each one, because I'd be like, oh, have I cut out all the right pieces? Yeah. It's going to show you how to lay those fabric pieces, lay the patterns on your fabric. Yeah. And these are all the things, and it shows you, this is your key to the leather pieces. Tips all over the place, your layout plan, and then it shows you how to cut it all. So it's step by step. Not only does it give you that inspiration, shows you how to do the zips, all these sorts of things. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The sleeves, gosh, it's really, hang on, step 26. This is almost like the quilt, 14 pages of quilting. And then you've got a hack.
You got the
tweed and faux leather jacket.
Nice.
Oh, nice. That's that. Oh, I like.
So that was one thing that when I was on the bee was really interesting, like working with leather, because again, it's not a fabric that I'd ever, one, could afford to work with, and two, have ever had a chance to work with. But the scary thing about leather is once you cut it, that's it. And once you sew through it, you can't really unpick it because if you think about your skin, when you pierce it, you bleed. Okay, it won't bleed, but you've got a hole in your leather, and you really don't want that. So you really did have to get the preparation down.
What a great book! Great book, great patterns. We need this out of the way, don't we?
Yeah.
But it is low in stock, so if you want it, please do grab it now.
Please do grab it. Okay, so to finish our couture lesson for today, so Patrick and May are happy when we get to the judging part of the show. They're not here, are they?
No, you're okay.
We're going to be doing our finish, so our thread finish loop. Okay, so again, a little tip, just purely for speed, just pop a big knot on the end of your thread so you can get it into the fabric straight away. So this is where you might want to just bring your two pieces together, so you want to be making sure that these obviously match up lovely. So I'm going to come in and head towards almost the tip. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
It's the tip of my back facing there. So there's my big knot in the end. And the first thing you want to do is secure that section. So I'm actually going to go through all of the layers. So that would be 4 layers in total. Actually, tell a lie, that's going to be 6 layers in total, because you've got a front and back piece, the interfacing, and then you've got the bit that I didn't trim off.
Oh, yes.
So this is why I said it's important to keep hold of it, so you've really got something to anchor onto. So I'm going to go once and twice, and I am going to stick a little blanket stitch in there. Okay, so that's, oh, hold on a minute, I haven't quite got that. So a good little tip actually when you're doing some hand sewing is pop, if you've got a little stub of needle, wax, like, you know, from a candle, from dinner, pop a little candle wax on your thread, stops it from getting all tangled up like we are at the moment.
You can buy wax threads, can't you?
Do we have it? Do we have it?
I don't know if we've got it yet, but hopefully it'll be on its way.
I'm going to suggest it. Get it now. Get it now.
That's the joy of it, isn't it? We can still suggest these things.
Absolutely. So this is where you need to just measure where you need to go. So I can see that's where the top is. So I'm just going to pop a pin in there so I know that it's going to be big enough. Okay. So this is where, very similar, if I move all this out of the way so we can just focus on what we're doing. Thank you, my darling. Okay, so again, similar to this, we're going to go in. Oh, well, I've got a knot on there. So we've got a loop.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that that loop's going to be big enough. So just to hold that loop in place, again, I'm going to go in and out, do a little loop.
Okay.
Okay. So now I've got those 2 pieces anchored in place. I'm going to get rid of that pin just so it stops confusing us.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm going to go back over to the other side.
So this is like when we were doing the loop for the hook.
Yes.
Isn't it? You have 4 layers.
And again, I'm just going to go over the other side there. Okay. So once we've done that, so you can see I've got 6 layers, 6 strands of thread. And you're very right, it's very, very similar. In fact, it's pretty much identical. Where you're going in and you're going to be front blanket stitching.
So needle over and then just take that thread around. So let's do this slowly. Needle in.
So needle in.
Yeah.
Thread over the needle and pull it through. So this is what you need to do now, is make sure when you're pulling that loop that it goes next to the loop that you've just created, and then just pull it down. Because what you don't want to be doing is going over. So I'm going to put my needle in away from, those are the knots that I've already done already. Those are my blanket stitches I've already done already. So I'm making sure that I'm under all of those threads, I'm away from it, taking the thread over the needle. So I'm creating that loop away from where I'm going. So you can see there's the blanket stitch. And as I pull, I'm bringing it towards the remaining of my stitches. So if I do that one more time. So again, I've gone in, through, under, around my needle.
So this is going to give you a couture finish to your tops.
I'm creating my blanket stitch now, so I'm bringing that in. I'm going to bring it close first and then slide it towards my other blanket stitches. And you just keep going.
That's going to be super strong, isn't it?
Super strong, that's right. But again, it's going to be nice on the neck because it's, you know, it's not ribbon. Sometimes they can finish them with a quite a raw edge sometimes, don't they, with the glue or the fusing that they do. Whereas this is just using the thread that would complement the fabric that you're using, so if it's cotton or polyester. And it's just going to give you that really nice, professional, couture finish. So I'm just going to keep going.
Excellent. So if you need to grab the book today, it's £21.95. We are running low on stock of that, so if you're after it, please do grab it. It's not just the book, though, is it? It's also all of your patterns as well, of which you have chosen one. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Jenniffer, because I feel, you know, I can do this.
Feel inspired to make a top.
I love that top. I really love that top.
It's so flattering,
That's the thing. So you're going to get the book and all the patterns, all of them for £21.95. What do we say? It's 73p a pattern if you ignore the fact that you get the book. That's effectively having the book for free and then just paying 73 pence per pattern. It's crazy.
It's great value.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm going to leave you doing that.
Okay, yep.
Thank you so much.
Nearly there.
Yeah, you are.
Nearly there.
But it's worth doing and worth finishing beautifully. Yes. Thank you, my love.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed that.
So, if you missed us at 10 o'clock, or if you did join us but you only caught a part of it, this is what we also have for you today. This was our Galaxy quilt. You're getting 8.5 metres of fabric with this. You're getting 14 pages of instructions. You get your threads, you get your interfacing, you get everything, Bondo web rather, you get everything that you need to make that front panel. Then you can pick which colour you want. You know, for your backing fabric yourself. So for $89.95, ZRGC 97, you're getting 5 planes, you're getting 7 gorgeous galactic patterns in there. And that's what you're making, which, do you know what? Any space-loving child is just going to go crazy for. So pop that in your basket. It's a good make. It's one that's going to keep you interested because no two blocks are the same. Brilliant. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. Grab your Scandi fabrics. There we go. There's your quilt. If you missed it earlier, please do catch up. And of course, remember, you can catch up again on YouTube so that you can get all of the hints and tips that we've had from our fabulous experts today. I will see you in the morning. Bye-bye.
Sewing Quarter is at the very heart, and most importantly, we will custom cut fabric to your specification in our very own cutting room. We will also be bringing you TV exclusives that you won't be able to find anywhere else. So come and join us today at the Sewing Quarter.
Welcome to the Sewing Quarter.